morning and welcome to Of Course Wrestling Network. You are gathered with us here for the Winner's Circle. It is Saturday morning, bright and early, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. I can hear myself in your echoing back on your end, Anika.
You know, an echo.
In my head. Yeah, sounds like it's coming.
Wait, yeah. Okay, so you don't. Yeah.
We are going to be switching up Winner's Circle a little bit. Instead of doing Raw and NXT and Dynamite, we are going to be doing strictly AEW coverage now. It will be Collision and Dynamite in an effort to just have a little bit more AEW coverage. I know a couple places are maybe scaling back on some of their AEW coverage. So to not leave a gap, we want to make sure and pick up all those pieces and be here for all of your AEW coverage. There's enough people out there doing WWE stuff. So this week we actually have a little bit of a unique situation because they had Collision on Saturday and then Dynamite on Wednesday and then a special Collision on Thursday. So I think the plan is to try to do all three. And we'll start with the first Collision from last Saturday from May 3rd. Let's see here. Let's see. We were in Atlantic City, I believe. Hold on, I'll be right back.
All right, sure. Listen, let's call space spade because we all family. I saw some of this Collision. I didn't see all of it, so we're gonna. So this will be hilarious of what I remember what to commentate on. But last Collision was popping. It was really really good. And Lord have mercy. Side note, DirecTV, if you want to have stuff on demand, I need to have it on demand. How you gonna have Collision, but I can't watch it? Huh. All right. But for people who are not Collision fans, Collision has been really, really great. When I say great, they've been doing their thing where they're actually trying to make this good a good AEW show. Not, oh, we just need more television viewership because hey, let's just have commercials. No, it actually was really, really good. So in no random order, I'm on YouTube because I don't remember none of this. We will start with the match. Brody King versus Don Callis family newest member, Josh Alexander. Now, if you have been under a rock, or you just don't like indie wrestling like that, or you just don't like TNA like that, which is it is what it is. Josh Alexander is that dude in that ring. And this match was very, very good. This was like I said, this was from last Saturday. So this was a kickoff between the match that they had, the tag team match between um Brody King and Osprey versus Takeshita and Josh Alexander. And Josh Alexander pinned Brody King, and that's how we get this. But like, oh, I can get my look back. And so for that, we started it off. And like I said, this dude, both of these dudes are great in the ring. I'm still waiting for the proper Brody King push, but y'all keep saying it's coming, but whatever. I look like no offense, I don't believe you. I'm just, but like you said, so Josh Alexander brought the grappling part of this match, but Brody King brought the I'm just a big dude, I'm gonna hit you. And with those two instincts, this was really, really good. And so they exchanged. So basically, they're exchanging blows, bout for bout. One of the best thing about this was at the end where Josh Alexander has him in an ankle lock, and Brody King just powers out. He's not just powers out of it because probably one of the best ankle counters I remember is when it was Kurt Angle versus Rock, and Rock used to just and then roll under, right? Like, okay, you went over and countered it. No, Brody King just stood up. He just stood up and slapped the crap out of Josh Alexander's back, and that was it. And that's how he got off of him. And then You heard the so many minutes time remaining, and it's like, are you serious? This is not gonna end the draw. I can't end the draw. Why you end the draw? Ah, clothesline. Brody Lou's trying to get it, but the time runs out, and it ends in a freaking draw. Freak. Listen, listen, listen. As someone, when it comes to DQs and non-finishes, I am getting to the point of, okay, at some point in time, you gotta pick a winner or don't do the match. That's literally where I'm at right now. And with it, and if you're not gonna have a finish, don't get me invested. I think that's more so annoying to me. Why am I invested in a match that's not gonna finish? Right? Like, let it be lame. Let it be a squash. I don't know. Or brawl and don't let the bell ring. But don't let me be invested and they're trying to end. That sucks. But yeah, Brody King, he does the clothesline. He does his, I'm gonna just call it a sick pile driver. Josh Alexander rolls out and it ends in a draw. AEW's version of a no contest or DQ. I don't know. I okay. Me being objective, I get it. Josh Alexander just came in, and even though I'm playing with y'all, I do see they want to do something with Brody King. So to that end, I kind of understand how you ended it like this. But on the other end, no, just don't do it. That's just me. Like I said, it ended in a no con. It ended in a draw. A brawl ensues because Lance Archer is helping out bro helping out helping up Josh Alexander and him and Brody King get started, and that's a pretty tasty match if I do say so myself. And then the Russ comes in, breaks it up, and that's the end of it. Now, if you want to get like listen, even though they don't know how to push big men just yet, give me Lance Archer versus Brody King, and that's a good time. I'm here for that. I am very much so here for that. I'm not even gonna hold you. All right, like I said, this is in no particular order, right? Because I don't remember the order, and DirecTV are some butts. All right, next up we have Timeless Tony Storm on AEW Collision because as a true champ, she is not here just to wait around who wins the Owen Hart Cup at Double or Nothing. She is still a competitor. And so to get her little, what you call it? To get her fix in, she has a match tonight against Lady Frost. And again, and this is a nice little tip. It's not just a what you call it, not just a match. It's also a championship eliminator match. If you beat me, you get another shot. You get the title. If you don't, well, you don't. And Lady Frost, she's good. She's good. She's a veteran in this game. A whole lot of politics has caused her not to be what you call it, a formidable force. But I am glad she's still getting she still get some shine on screen. So, as I said, again, bout for bout, Tony Storm is just being great in this ring, and great, and honestly, she's put together how her character is supposed to be in the ring, which is a beautiful. At first, it's like, okay, you're supposed to be this crazy behind person. How did this equate in the ring? She finally puts it together. I'm just gonna go to the end where Lady Frost does a red eye. Yeah, there's a red eye. 1, 2, not 3 yet, because our beautiful Thomas Tony Storm is timeless. So it's a kick out. One moment here. And as Lady Frost tries to go for another bout, a kick to the face, Timeless Tony Storm ducks and does a suplex, and then two very, very dangerous hip attacks in the corner. Let me see. And then she unveils her newest submission move, the chicken wing. I know there's more words to that, but it's basically she chokes him around the neck. She has the arm behind her back. Her legs are wrapped around their gut while they're on the floor and tap out. This is a perfect submission move for Timeless Tony Storm. Lady Frost, taps out, and timeless Tony Storm wins yet again. And as she's writhing in ecstasy as winning her match, of course, we need to hear for our beloved champion. And I want to say it right because I usually just say go watch it, but I'm gonna try to say it. The whore you all adore, the slut you can't rebut, the the tramp is still the champ. Just that's Tony Storm. And like I said, she says again, I'm not just going to wait around for double or nothing. I will be everywhere. And then she goes to the audience. I'll be here. I'll be here. I'll be over there. And then she goes outside. I gotta, because she looks out to the pier. I'm like, where are they? One moment here. Yeah, she looks out into the boardwalk and down the bridge. And she's just like, and so again, I'm just gonna repeat it. I'll be ready. I'll be sweaty. I am here. I am queer. And I will always be timeless. And as she looks at the boardwalk, the music plays. And she's just looking out. And Lufa's there just cheering her on in the madness that is Tony's store. This is a good idea. This is a good idea because even though Mercedes Monet and Jimmy Hitter is going to be a good match, like that's going to be so delicious. Tony Storm is still the main event, so her being on TV and having matches, that's a very good. I love that, and actually I love the concept of her just what's it face it having Collision be revolving around her. I love that too. That's a very very good decision. Not sure how you do like yeah. I was like SmackDown. That was the Rock show. Let Collision be Tony Storm show. All right, like I said, in no particular order because I don't remember now. Daggone thing. Oh, you're right. Thank God. All right, so I just reviewed Brody King versus Josh Alexander and Timeless Storm versus Lady Frost. Do you have any thoughts on either of those matches?
This was another one of those Lady Frost, Tony Storm was another one of those uh contender matches. If you
Yep.
win, you get a
Eliminator. Yeah. Yeah.
eliminator matches, right? And I've already been critical of these before in the past, and I'm going to be critical again here. They said that like after Tony Storm won or at the beginning of the match, they said like Tony Storm's like 7-0 in these eliminator matches, and it's like if she's gonna be undefeated in the eliminator matches,
Yeah.
why not just make them? Why not just make them title matches and let her actually defend the title those 7 times? If she's just gonna win, then she might as well just defend the title. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me to just be having a bunch of non-title matchups when you're champion. So
That
it is what it is. I mean, and again, the fact that you're wrestling the champion for a chance to wrestle the champion for the title is a little weird. Anyhow, I mean the idea that you're going to beat them twice, and I understand that's probably part of it. You have to own it, so you got to beat them twice. But at the same time, it's like really, it should be two contenders facing each other, and the winner faces the champion for a shot at the title. And if Tony Storm wins 7 or 8, has 7 or 8 defenses in a row, success. That just, I mean, that I don't see how that's any different than having 7 or 8 eliminator match wins in a row. So it is what it is, I guess. I mean,
yeah. We put it in that context. It's like, what is the point? And we'll talk about it more when we get to Dynamite. Yeah.
and then
Josh
I'm sorry,
Alexander
you
versus
said
Billy King.
Josh Alexander and Brody King. Yeah, I mean, again, happy that Josh Alexander is in AEW. I have my feelings about the Callis family, but they are right now kind of the premier faction for all intents and purposes. I mean, you have the Death Riders, which do what they do, and right now you've got the Ops, which are kind of on the rise a little bit, but they need some more guys. I mean, slowly over there, Don Callis has created himself a nice little stable. I mean, he's dropped a couple guys along the way and picked up a couple more here and there, but I mean, he's got himself a nice little stable of 5, 6 guys. I mean, and they're a formidable whatchamacallit. So, happy to see Josh Alexander there, Brody King getting more time. This is what we wanted, right? It hasn't necessarily been as successful as I think we were all hoping it would be. And at
Yeah.
the same time, like, he's faced a lot of really good competition. So I mean, the idea that he would just be beating people is probably slim anyhow. But I'd like him to get a few more wins at the same time. Like, not every match has to be against Josh Alexander or a premier guy. You can mix in a couple matches against a couple other guys where that are below him, where you can actually see him be the monster that he is and destroy a couple people in between some good matches and some tough losses. So I still want more for him, but we definitely are getting more of him on TV than we were when Alistair Black was around. I guess if that's the, I mean, if that was the commentary, the rhetoric,
Yeah.
it seems like he's had more time on TV. So maybe there was something there. I don't know.
Yeah. Alright. And that was it. You took the floor because I have no clue what the order I'm going in.
Okay. So let's see. I'm looking here. So the order that I had here, it looked like after Tony Storm and Lady Frost, there was a Moxley promo. Moxley was Shafir.
Yeah.
Moxley says people around Samoa Joe are dropping like flies.
Yeah.
But Joe is beyond reproach, but so was Brian Danielson. If you want to lock Moxley inside a cage, go ahead, because he's good at his job. Joe better know what he's doing. For me, this is Moxley. The stuff with Joe for me has really turned the Moxley situation around a little bit. Um, Again, it all has to do at times, unfortunately, with who you're facing. And
Yes.
there was, as much as I don't want to say it, because I don't want to badmouth Adam Copeland, because there's really wrong with him. It just wasn't overly exciting.
It
I mean, I
wasn't.
have an active issue with Adam Copeland, other than the fact I think he's a little past his prime and still doing too much. But beyond that, I mean, I don't have an active. I always liked Edge. Let's put it that way. It wasn't like I hated Edge or had an issue with Edge. I always kind of liked Edge. Um, he's not my favorite, but I always kind of liked him. So, but him with Moxley was boring, and then Moxley and Swerve for that short little minute um, right after the
Oh,
whatchamacallit, the person I was just mentioning. Geez, why?
at AW Dynasty.
Copeland. We had
Yeah.
like 2 weeks of them facing off against each other. And I'm trying to remember if there was even a match after that. I'm not
It
sure
was
that
a
there
tag
was, but
team
either way,
match. It
huh?
was it was tag team match. Swerve and Willow versus him and Marino.
That's right. And then right into what we're doing now with whatchamacallit. So I'm here for it. I like this Samoa Joe. I think Samoa Joe's bringing out something in Moxley that is, I like a little bit more. And I kind of I like the more stoic kind of introverted Moxley than the insane running around, flipping out, yelling Moxley. So the beanie on, the in front of the camera, just a little more huffy puffy, a little more stoic, a little more quiet. I like that a little bit more. So these promos, I thought this promo was very good, and I'm here for this stuff with Joe for sure. I can't wait to see the steel cage match. So
Listen, everyone's feelings are very much so valid when it comes to Moxley versus Cole, right? Your feelings are valid. I can't agree. I can disagree with you. But to dump on the whole reign because of that feud, I think is like palate cleanse it. Palate cleanse it. If we get rid of Copeland and Moxley, how bad is this? How bad is this reign? And I am a Moxley fan, so that's why I can completely forget. I'm like, okay, it's over. Move. It's easy for me to move on. So but like probably I'm like, listen, take wrestling sorbet. Get us like more. In other words, get over it and enjoy what's happening right now. Because happening right now, like you said, is very, very entertaining for me at least. Like you said, this whole I respect. It's like the basis of this premise is I respect you and I know how bad you are too, but don't forget that I'm the baddest dude on the planet as well. So it's like put me in a cage, close the doors. So like close the doors, let's go. I honestly would have loved to do that double or nothing, but I guess we're doing something else at double or nothing that is what it is. But yeah, it'll be fine next week.
I mean, I've been trying to decide if because it's on Dynamite Beach Break, if that's some sort of indication one way or the other of how it's going to go. I'm not sure that it is. I think at this point, even though Joe has helped. make the run a little bit more exciting, as did
Yeah.
Swerve for that short little minute of Willow stuff with Marina. I still think it's been a little bit long in the tooth this fourth run, and maybe it hasn't hit the notes that they were hoping it would. It wouldn't surprise me if Joe gets the win.
Mhm.
Right now, I feel like the ops are hot. I feel like Joe's kind of that guy. I mean, he was champion before, but I think another good, maybe longer, more solid run
Yeah.
would would be good. So it wouldn't surprise me if Joe wins. At the same time, I mean, it's Moxley, and
Yeah.
I don't want to say that he's in one of those places where he never loses, but he's in one of those places where he kind of never loses. So it's I don't know, it's a tough situation. I think
They
Joe
have
might get the win. If you had to call it, who you think?
yeah, they have a direction on where it wants to go, and I don't think they're going to jump off the boat until they get to the destination. I'll say that.
Okay. So, all right. So let's see. In the notes that I got here, I had Sammy and Roosh versus Kevin Knight and AR Fox next, which
Where
is one of those matches that if you don't watch Dynamite, you don't really get to see. These are guys that are, I don't know, I don't want to call them Collision exclusive, but Sammy's definitely basically a Collision guy.
I thought he was
I
more.
haven't,
I haven't seen him in a minute, and I watch Collision at least twice a month.
okay,
I'm like, where the
okay.
frick did he come from? Yeah, I know. I know he was ROH tag team champions with Dustin Rhodes, but
Preston, yep.
I don't. Yeah, I haven't seen him on Collision in a minute.
So it says that this is Sammy's first match since October of 2024.
Okay, yeah, 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 yeah,
So that's like almost 6 months. So he's been gone for a minute.
yeah.
So he's been gone for a minute. It's Sammy and Roosh versus Kevin Knight and AR Fox. I mean, four guys that can really wrestle. Obviously, Sammy and Roosh are kind of a thrown together tag team, especially with Sammy's first match back in 6 months. Dustin is at ringside. I wasn't totally clear why Dustin isn't his tag team partner, but Roosh was. I guess I didn't hear it or I wasn't clear. I wasn't paying attention on commentary, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
And we know Kevin Knight's been getting some play on Dynamite, and AR Fox is one of those guys that when you need a solid hand to come in and be a good wrestler in the match, that's the guy you call up. So um, all four of these guys can really wrestle. It's great to see. I know we have our personal feelings about Sammy and those kind of things, but as a wrestler, I enjoy Sammy Guevara, and he's a solid wrestler. All four of these guys are really, really good. So in that regard, I thought it was a lot of fun. Um, Sammy and Roosh did get the win. Sammy hit the go to hell or the GTH for the win.
Just my
Um, so
favorite.
it's what it is, again, Fox and Knight, Knight's on the come up. Fox is there to take pins. Unfortunately, for some reason, that's how Tony Khan thinks he's best used at this time. I
But
totally disagree.
yeah,
I think AR Fox is one of those guys that should be competing for a title somewhere. That's my personal opinion. I think he's an incredible wrestler. After
yeah.
the match, Sammy Guevara with the win, he pointed to Adam Cole, who had been on commentary, because Sammy Guevara wants a shot at the TNT Championship. Yeah. So, what do you think of this match, and any interest in Sammy and Adam Cole?
Second question, no. Uh, first question, this. I'm like, like, how the frick you just get back and you claim and you throwing shots, sir, put your behind all the way in the back, all the way in the back in the corner, and then and take a number. All that number is 422. Okay, I'm sorry. This match was great though. I love this match. It feels like with like you said, they're doing a whole lot with Kevin McKnight, and as they should. And like right now, we're trying to find their group. Like, where exactly can we put him, and it'll be a great program. But until we figure it out, give me more matches like this. Totally agree with about AR Fox. Don't know what they're doing with him, but fine. But like you said, in Roosh, I think we're gonna blame it on visas, but man, I just wanted to have one solid program, like one solid program where he ends something and he finishes something, and it's not something in between. It's like, hey, where'd he go? But no, this was a very very good match, and Sammy versus Adam Cole. Let that be on Collision and get it done with. That's
Ruth is one of those guys. I feel like I'm always saying he's got so much talent and so much upside. Just wait till it's just a matter of time. And I feel like I've been saying that for a long time. It's got nothing to do with him. I don't think it just has to do with circumstances or whatever. I'm not totally sure, but It's one of those
push
situations
Raw.
where you would think that he would be a little bit more over than he is, or have a little bit, or have had more success than he has because he's so talented.
Definitely, most definitely.
Let's see. So we had Moxley earlier. Now we get Joe. Joe says he wanted the match in a cage because he know Moxley doesn't have the heart to face him man to man. He knows he can't do it without his Death Riders, so he wants him in the cage all alone. Anything you want to say about this response from Joe?
Excuse you, sir. Like that was very disrespectful and hurtful. Even though you're my dude, I'm just saying. Both of you guys are my. Like I said, both of these guys are my dude. So this is a very, very weird situation I'm in right now, where no matter what, I'm gonna have a good old time. But I love it. Joe gonna be Joe. So how can you not love it? Honestly.
See, this is the okay. So, in anticipation of the main event, 2 out of 3 falls match between FTR and Paragon in the main event of this episode, we had a little video package hyping the matchup, and that led into Megan Bain versus Harley Cameron.
Fear the wrath.
Um, I was gonna say, let's see. This was okay. I mean, Megan Bain got the win, as you kind of expected she would. She's kind of the big monster at the moment that they're really pushing. And Harley Cameron, although getting a push, I do think I'm not sure that they don't. I mean, she's not Megan Bain. Let's put it that way. So I think they see her as like a solid hand, a good wrestler. I'm almost concerned that maybe Tony Caesar is more of kind of a comedy filler act and maybe an actual wrestling superstar. I don't know yet. We'll have to see. It's still early to, whatever. We'll see what ends up happening. But she's getting used, definitely in comedic spots now, which is fine. I thought this was okay. Um, Penelope Ford is obviously out with Megan Bain as they've been basically attached at the hip. Um, yeah, okay. Bain got the win, and that's basically what it is. So, anything you want to say about the match before the post match stuff?
Very decent match. And for the in ring wise, Harley is good for only being 3, 4 years in the game. Like people need to realize her first matches was when she was with Sriracha. And so she is really new. So I think right, but she's so talented and so entertaining. So I think they're already doing a good thing. Where okay, until we can get your reps up in the ring, excuse me, we're gonna lean more towards the entertainment side until you can until you can give us a complete match by yourself, and it'd be like a really great one. So like so I'm kind of here for it until we can get her to the place where she needs to be. Um, with Megan Bain, I don't like her, but I understand pushing her like this. Like okay, fine, you we can have it. You need the monster. What do they call her? It's like Triceratops Glam Zero. It's like it's a mix between goddess and something from Transformers. It's like either way. So I'm here for what they're doing with Megan Bain. So I'm okay with all of this right now. But the whole you push people down, bow down like hey. That's what we're not gonna do. You know what jobbers. Okay, you leave me alone. I'm just but yeah, this was serviceable. This was fine.
So after the match, Anna Jay comes in to save Harley Cameron, and she tries to attack Megan Bain, which doesn't really work, but it is enough to get Bain to at least leave. And then I don't remember if this is the start of it, but at some point here between this episode and Thursday's episode, there's this whole Anna Jay has a fat ass thing. I don't know.
Okay, number one, like I said, I don't watch Collision on a daily basis, but I do watch at least twice a month. So when I see and I'm like, where did freak Anna J come from? That's number one. Like where I was like, she's been gone for a minute too. On Dynamite, we're gonna talk about it later. That was just Holly Cameron being the most entertaining person in the room. Now I'm not
Right.
sure. Again, I'm not. I don't think it's a storyline about her, but I don't. But I don't think it is. I think on Dynamite, Harley was just being Harley. But I'm here to find out what's gonna happen with her and Anna Jay. I'm not 100% invested, but I'm here to see what happens.
I think right now it feels like it's the fat ass stuff feels like it's in humor in a good way, like fat with a
Oh
PH.
yeah.
I do get concerned though because WWE over the years has been a machine to push a particular aesthetic for women and to imply that maybe another one might not be as attractive. And so I just get concerned with running that line a little bit. Like, you don't want to imply in any way that Anna Jay is actually fat because she's not. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that it's doing that, but I just. You never know how people take some things, you know what I mean? So you just got to be careful with some of the words you say sometimes. Um,
Yeah, no, no. With wrestling right now, we're in a weird territory where things that are generally funny are kind of tied to the past. Where it's just like we can do it better, but are people ready for us to do better with this particular joke? More so, Chad Gable and Grande Americano. We understand why everybody is hands up, right? But if we just give them a chance, they're gonna rock the rope, transforming to transforming to female wrestlers in their bodies. With Harley, I know what you're getting, so I'm gonna let you rock the rope, but please walk the tightrope, please.
So next we had Moxley and Marina Shafir for another chat. He doesn't know what Joe is talking about because Joe thinks he's going to beat up Moxley. The reality is that Moxley has faced every supposed tough guy in wrestling from every promotion, and those people realize they are in a war when it comes to a match with John Moxley. Uh, or they realize they're in a war, but Moxley and the Death Eaters know they've been in a war the entire time. Um, you know, okay. I mean, yeah, again, this is for me. This Moxley's a little bit better, a little bit more reserved, a little bit. I mean, angry and still fired up, but not quite so out of control. So I
Right.
like it. I mean, this is now our third segment on this collision around this match. It's fine. I mean, you're hyping it up. I get it. It's your world championship program, so I get it. At the same time, it's taking up a lot of airtime. So
Mm-hmm.
as does Moxley. Moxley takes up a lot of airtime. I mean, which isn't terrible. I just really have a
Like he's your
problem with
champ,
it
right?
when it's going well, but he gets a lot of airtime.
But it is like, why do we need both? Like, why did we need the backstage promo and the in ring promo? It was like you could have chose one or the other, and preferably just do the in ring. I did
Yeah,
love when he was like, "Oh, y'all think you're gonna beat my?" And like, yes, yes, we do. Joe's gonna kill you. So yeah, but it both
yeah.
entertaining. But you could just choose one. You could chose just one or the other.
And don't get me wrong, like I'm not, one of the things I disliked about WWE and the splitting of SmackDown and Raw was the whole like kind of brand split where it was like this. Oh, you have two absolutely different things going on, and you can't have any crossover. And I'm not necessarily here for that. I do like a little crossover. At the same time, you've got two shows, and Collision is definitely should be the show for the guys that aren't getting on AEW Dynamite, and Moxley dominating the time on Collision and on Dynamite makes a lot less time on TV for other people. So, I'm not saying Moxley should be strictly on Dynamite. I'm just saying he shouldn't be dominating both
Twice.
shows. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
He should be on there twice. Do a segment, hit it and quit it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. So then the match we already talked about, Josh Alexander versus Brody King. Let's see. Max Caster is here. Uh, who
The
says
best wrestler alive.
she, let's see. No one can hang with them for 5 minutes. Tonight's challenge has a 5-minute time limit. It is a Daniel Garcia versus Max Caster. So Dancing Daniel Garcia, answers the call, and basically hits him with the fisherman's. neck breaker and a pile driver within like a minute, and the match is over.
Yeah.
Listen, I've been saying this now for a long time. If this is actually leading to something for Max Caster, you've got to get there. If the feud is Bowens and Caster, you've got to get there. You have now spent, by my estimation, at least 2 solid months, if not 3 solid months, absolutely just destroying and burying Max Caster every way you possibly can. I mean, now the matches are lasting less than a minute. So he had the 15-minute open challenge. So now it's a 5-minute open challenge, and now he's not even lasting five. I mean, now he's getting beaten under a minute. So it's like, I mean, I'm going to say it again. What exactly are we doing? Again, if the program is Bowens versus Caster, then let's get to it because you're just continuing to just make Max look incredibly terrible. So, which is not your goal. That's fine, but I don't understand why that would be your goal. So, anything you want to say about this open challenge, Max Caster, Daniel Garcia debacle?
No. I like I said, we had different feelings about this. This has been done before. This hasn't done before. The Lobo loser finally gets the win, but more so is better because you're not lovable. We hate you, so you getting beat is an enjoyment for us every time you keep talking about you the best wrestler alive, calling yourself the Maximaniacs was actually very good. I hate how good that I hate how good that name is. But either way, but yeah, you're actually being a heel getting beat is working, right? But I do agree. At some point in time, we gotta talk about okay, am I supposed to stay here or am I supposed to be elevated? I do agree you need to have the conversation. But as of right now, yeah, you just bragging that people can't hang with you and you get beat is hilarious to me. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Yeah. Post-match, Daniel Garcia says he'll deal with FTR after their match. Anthony Bowens is ready to move on, but Blake Christian and Lee Johnson come out to say they're both better than Bowens. And this is fine with that. And he's ready to mollywop whoever. So this is a nice little in-ring segment with Bowens. I mean, we get you get the contrast between what the program that they hate for Max Caster, which I don't understand, and then the program for Anthony Bowens, which is really good. I'm happy with what they're
Yeah.
doing with Bowens at the moment. I think it's coming off well. Him being with Billy Gunn still, is what it is. I mean, my concern is that I think that they still think that Bowens needs him, like almost like a crutch, like
Mm-hmm.
to a certain extent, and that I'm not necessarily a big fan of because I think Bowens at this point doesn't need anybody. Don't get me wrong, I still like the scissoring thing. I still like it. I'm here for it. I think it's fine. In that regards, I understand. I just don't want them. I get concerned that they think that Billy Gunn is a crutch for Bowens because Bowens lacks something potentially, and that I don't like. But beyond that, I mean, I'm fine with it, and I'm happy with what they're doing. And this ultimate thing that's going on with Blake Christian and Lee Johnson and Anthony Bowens, I'm here for it. I think it's fun. So
This is perfect. Like let's build him up slowly. This is the perfect, and those two are the perfect ones to be in the match with. Um, I kind of agree with you. I feel like with him and Billy, I feel like okay, let's try to grasp onto what little magic left the claim with Billy Gunn has until it's time to break off. But again, conversations need to be had. When is the right time to break it off? Right? When's the time to actually officially cut off? But at least in this team up, they're not. What's the words? It's not him was yeah, it's not Billy Gunn being in matches and beating people. It's just he's just in his corner. And that I'm okay with. Like, yes, just be in his corner until we find out what the plan is, boss.
we then had Gates of Agony coming down talking about how they've got some business with Brian Keith and Big Bill and the little feud that they got going on. And in the meantime, they have a match against Ray Jazz and Goldie, which is definitely a squash match. Pounce
Mm-hmm.
running shots in the corner, open the gates, finishing Jazz 1 minute and like 20 seconds. So Gates are going to look good. Then they talk. I mean, yeah, for a team that doesn't talk a whole lot, thought this was a nice little segment where they actually showed that they actually can talk and have some personality and have a little like us. Anika over there is feeling it. She was a little flush. So,
Yes, I am.
um,
Listen.
no, I mean, I thought this was great. And then obviously post match, Brian Keys and Big Bill pop up, and they call out Gates of Agony, and from the parking lot. Gates of Agony goes out to the parking lot. A brawl continues. Blah blah blah. And we ultimately have Gates of Agony versus this Big Bill Brian Keys. Brian Keys and Big Bill are still trying to prove to Chris Jericho that they belong under the learning tree. Jericho's disappointed with them, so they're trying to do anything they can to kind of get some ground back with him. At the expense of Gates of Agony, that's a tough little rock to push up the mountain. So I don't know if that's the best tree to be barking up, but it is what it is. I'm here for Gates of Agony versus Brian Keith and Big Bill. Um, the only thing I have to say, and it's not for anything to do with skill, but one of these things is not like the other. Brian Keith is really fucking short. Like you get
Stop!
everybody,
Stop!
it's like Big Billy's really,
He
really
very
damn.
short.
Like I knew you're short, but man. But no, I mean, I thought the match was fun, or not the match, but the post stuff was fun, and I'm here for this. So, what do you want to say about Gates Agony and Big Bill and Brian
Yes,
Keith?
yes. I'm sorry. We, we can't. We're here for a good time, not a long time. All right. Gates and value me. Yes. Just yes. Push them. Do that. More of them on my television, please and thank you. All right. Serious. No, no, no. I love them when they were with the embassy. I feel like we could have had so much more. And then they broke off, and it felt like they were kind of pushing them. And it's like it's like again that whole start stop situation. Was like just start, and if it fails, it fails. We can just get over it, but just start. But like
Yeah,
I'm okay with this feud. I was gonna say put it on Dynamite, but maybe not just yet. Not just yet. Let's have that fun collision, and when it gets really cooking, put it on Dynamite. How about that? But I love both these teams actually, and I love that Big Bill and Brian are doing some things without Jericho. So it's like, okay, heck yeah, let's get into it. I don't know who win. Okay, I don't say I don't know who wins. I have an inkling of who wins, but I love both teams. That hopefully I'm wrong, you know. But this is good old hoss fighting, and I'm here. I'm definitely here for it. Like this should definitely not bring anyone down. Like this should bring everybody up. This is a good freaking time.
yeah. No, I mean, I agree. There wasn't anything. The Gates of Agony, another one of those teams that we talk about it all the time about teams that it feels like why there's maybe a slight disconnect for why they're not their resume isn't better than it actually is. And then I think to myself when I'm saying that, I also think there really only are so many spots, right? Not every single person or every single team can be a main eventer or a title holder, all that stuff. So that being said, they are one of the teams that I would think would be closer to that level than others. But it is what it is. I mean, I enjoy them too. I know that they're more of a Ring of Honor thing, and you got to have guys on Ring of Honor. I get that, and at the same time, it does almost feel sometimes like they're a little wasted down there. Yeah, I mean, I love them with the embassy. I thought they were going to get a bigger push then, but they have the look, they have the skills, they can obviously talk. So I'm not sure. Again, not every single person or team can be title holders or main event guys, but there are some where it's like I wonder why they're not a little bit more uh, they're not pushed a little bit more than they are. So, and
Well,
like you said, start and stop, start and stop. Just start it and let it go. I mean, just let it go. Like
and like we talk
all
about
gas, no brakes, in the words of Jacob Fatu.
yeah, yeah, I mean. But yeah, we talk
Uh,
about more Dynamite, but it's like yeah, there's only so many spots, but this tag team division, you're not giving a lot. So we need people with more prominent spots though, and it's quite evident. It's quite evident when we talk about leadership.
well, yeah, and when you think about some of the other teams that have had runs in AEW in the tag team division, especially title runs, I mean, there are a couple where I think the Gates of Agony are equally as good as those teams, if not better. The Guns, the Acclaimed, So I mean, there are some tag teams that have held the belts, and it's like Gates of Agony are equally as good as them, if not better. So like, those guys got a shot, but those guys didn't. Like,
Yeah,
I understand when you're that when you've got the Lucha Bros and you've got the Young Bucks, and you've got, whoever else you want to FTR, that maybe the Gates of Agony are down that list a little bit. But when you start talking about the Acclaimed having a title run and the Guns having a title run, it's like the Gates of Agony work in there somewhere. They're at least equally as good, if not better, than those guys. So it's like, well, there is a little bit of a disconnect. But again, it is what it is. That brings us to our Collision main event. FTR versus Paragon in a 2 out of 3 falls.
Oh,
Matt
listen.
Stokely is here with
I'm telling you right.
FTR.
Wait, time out. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
I'm not calling them that. I'm not sure where Paragon came from, but that's a dumb and high name. That's stupid. Okay, I'm calling you Roddy and what's the face? What's it? I'm calling you Roddy and Kyle or Undisputed Kingdom, but I'm not calling you Paragon. That sounds dumb. I forgot they was named that. Please pick better. That's all I'm saying. Please pick freaking better. Okay, go.
I almost wonder, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett have been the Kingdom for a long time. And I
Mm-hmm.
almost wonder if they don't have, now that Bennett and Taven aren't with Undisputed Kingdom or Paragon anymore,
Yeah.
I wonder if for some reason they either couldn't or decided they didn't want to use the Kingdom name anymore. Maybe they have some sort of trademark on it. I don't know, but that was my thought. I think that's why they changed the name. That doesn't mean Paragon's a good name. I think that's why they ultimately changed the name. I mean, yeah, Paragon is not a good name. I mean, it's right up there with Pinnacle. I mean, AEW's tried to do this a few times where they give the group a name that it's like, oh, I understand what the name is, but for a group it just doesn't work. Like in the wrestling setting, it just doesn't work. So
Especially when these
um,
dudes have better names. Undisputed Kingdom, Undisputed, The Kingdom, Paragon. No, no.
yeah.
Go back to the drawing board. Start again. You have better names. Do better.
So this was a solid match. Let's see. We had FTR tapped for the first fall.
And it's,
Harwood tapped,
and it's a two
and
out of
it was
three
one.
falls match.
It was one fall Paragon, and then FTR came back and hit the Shatter Machine to pin Roderick Strong, and it was 1-1. And then FTR hits another Shatter Machine to finish Kyle O'Reilly in just around 20 minutes. 2 falls to 1. What can be said, right? I mean, the only thing I could think of here that I might have preferred, and this is really splitting hairs, is maybe Bobby Fish over Roderick Strong, just because the Red Dragon connection. And I feel like even though Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly have a long history together, it's not the same history that Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly have together. But other than that, I mean, these 4 guys are insane, right? I mean, the match was incredible. I mean, 2 out of 3 falls, is always fun. The only issue that I have is that, as with a lot of stuff in wrestling, it becomes predictable sometimes. You can almost guarantee it's going to be 1-1, and then they have to have the final fall. I mean, very, very rarely does someone actually go 2-0 and just finish it, which is how in real life, if it was a true competition, you would get probably more often. But it is what it is, and we're here for the entertainment, the excitement, and the spectacle. And that third fall or that third match or whatever you're doing it when you're in a series, that rubber match, that rubber fall always brings a lot of excitement. So lots of back and forth, and obviously FTR got to win here. I don't know what that means. I assume that we're going to get FTR versus the Hurt Syndicate for those titles.
So like this was like so they had this feud on Collision for a minute where I can't even remember it. Sweet Jesus, the Paradude. What is it? What's it
We're
called?
gone.
The Paragon. The Paragon won a match. FT, the Paradude's chicken. I'm sorry. Stop it. Kyle and Roderick won a match, and FTR won a match. And I think this is the what you call it? This is just the tiebreaker, honestly. They had this feud collision, and this feud has been really, really good. And like you said, unfortunately, when someone turns heel immediately, right? It's kind of hard to be like, oh, but they're going to get beat. Like you said, it's kind of predictable. We kind of knew that FTR was going to win this, but either way, enjoying the ride, these two teams are probably the best in the business. And I would really would have loved if somehow, some way, we can get more of the Paragon in on Dynamite more. So this would be a bigger deal. And like if you're a Collision fan, this is already a big deal. But if you're not, you don't know that Roddy and Kyle have been actually tearing it up for a minute, right? So it's all about balance and building teams up because you said we're definitely getting FTR and Hurt Syndicate, right? But I'm not sure what we're waiting for. Maybe they're waiting for after Double or Nothing. What is it? Forbidden Door. Maybe they're All In. Maybe they're waiting for this match, that match to be at All In, and FTR to take the title from at All In. But you need time. You need teams in the meantime, between time, and you don't have them right now. So we need to do something. We need to do something in the meantime, between time, or speed the schedule up. It's like, hey, next we call it next pay per view, just do it and just have that be the program. You did it with Tony Storm and Mariah May, where it was they had their matches on pay per view and they ended it on pay per view. Like this, just do that with the tag team titles.
I agree. Post match, Daniel Garcia comes out with a crowbar, but does he respect FTR too much? But he still needs some answers, and he wants to beat them out of FTR next week.
Yes,
So, which is technically Thursday, which was this last Thursday they had their match. So we'll talk about that when we get to it.
yes.
But anything about Daniel Garcia coming out post match and the way the show actually went off the air?
This was a great. This like I said, the heel turn of FTR is going really well. It's going really well. Like in this match, we're like, how are him and how are them and Stokely going to merge? They're actually doing a very good job. They actually healing up together. I'm like, well, look at y'all. And more so, the heel turn was we did nothing wrong, and they're still trying to be friends with Daniel Garcia. And Daniel Garcia is like, I ain't got time for this. Either you're my friend or you're not. So I'm gonna beat the out of you. I'm like, yes, I love that. Yeah, we ain't got time for the chit chat manipulation. What the frick is going on between us? Not everybody, just us. Please and thank you. Next week, bye.
So that was the end of the show. I thought it was a solid episode of Collision. I don't watch it a lot, but I'm going to start watching it now for
Mm-hmm.
Winner's Circle every Saturday or when it's on. Um, I thought it was good. I mean, the only complaints that I had were just kind of, I don't necessarily like the championship eliminator stuff.
Yeah,
I just wish that had been a title match and just let Tony Storm get the win over Lady Frost and retain the title. But again, solid match. I did like her new chicken wing. I liked it. I thought that
that
was kind
was
of cool.
perfect for her. Yes,
So, seeing Sammy back is fun. I wish they did more for AR Fox, just in general.
in general.
And then you had kind of basically two squashes: Daniel Garcia squash Max Caster, and then the Gates of Agony squash. The unknowns, which is fine. Paragon versus FTR made up for it. I thought this was a solid. I'm going to give this a B plus. I thought this was a good show. I thought it was a very very solid show. So I'm going to give it a B plus. What are you giving it?
Um, B plus sounds accurate. It's crazy because I'm thinking about comparing them to NXT. Like, I think that's where like we're both shows are at. I think, and it's like, they got it. Like what level again? Like what level are we aspiring to? Because NXT, you're like, yes, it's still a show on television, but it's still developmental. Collision is definitely a main show, but they're just now putting more focus into it. So I'm trying to grade appropriately. But thinking back on the show, this period, there's nothing egregious. I Nothing made me want to punch somebody in the face. So yeah, B plus. Yeah.
All right. So the first of two episodes of Collision on this week's Winner's Circle, we gave a B plus. In between, we did have an episode of Dynamite though. And I don't know if you have your notes and want to lead the Dynamite discussion or
uh, so this is listen, boys and girls. This is a very new format, and so but we will get to it. We will do our thing and act accordingly. I usually use a certain review to help me out with my notes, but they want to act like they don't want to do the review anymore, so I have to fend for myself. So
Aha.
give me a minute. AEW Dynamite from this week.
Yeah,
It
I
was
gotta trying to. My computer wants to act up
it
now,
was
so as I'm trying
it
to.
was May. It was May. They did in May. Uh,
It was
last
May 7th.
Wednesday, May 7th. Thank you. I appreciate that. I want to say we started off with a what's the face. We started off with a match, and like crazy enough to say, I think that's really it's a great. That's a good thing to do. Again, let's start off with a match and just go for broke. You help me out here because, like I said, I don't have my trusty Relati. What was the first match?
Let's
No,
see.
no, I got
Well,
it.
we
I
got.
got it. I got it. It was not a match. It was
It
actually
wasn't.
it was an in-ring promo from your Owen Hart Cup finalist, Hangman Adam Page. Yeah, so he comes out, still has the heel music, but you know the farewell on his forehead has softened, so we're making progress. He stopped being a crazy. He is starting to let go of some of his anger, and I love it. So I'm going to paraphrase. I'm not doing everything bout for bout, but I'm just going to give you the gist of it. So it is. So he comes out and he's like, I don't know why you people still love me. I have done some egregious things, and the freaking crowd are stupid. Like, yeah, it's like, no, no, yeah, he did drug somebody and burn a house down. That is nothing to cheer for. Get with the program. And so, and he was like, well, what happened? Like, he's like, no. So I will quote this. He's like, the past couple of years have been my own personal hell. My family has been through so much, and I just wanted revenge. So I took away a man's hopes and dreams that I thought it would make me feel better. I would get some relief. And so when I finally got my revenge, I thought I would be satisfied, but I'm not. And do you know why? And the crowd was like, "Tell us why! Tell us why!" And he's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Boo!" I'm like, "How are you booing a man saying I don't know?" Crowd. I mean, you got to get together. I mean, you got to get together. Like, how you gonna boo a man for not knowing his emotions? That's every freaking man at some point in the freaking month. Anyway, side note. But he knew when he had to hurt when he went through hell with very good friend that to move forward he would have to move past the anger he had in his heart. So he said before the Owen Hart Cup started, he said, I decided to move away from Swerve Strickland. He's like basically I put him in my past. I am moving away from that anger. And with that, I started my journey with the Owen Hart Cup. I defeated uh I defeated Speedball Mike Bailey. I defeated Cal Fletcher, and now I'm in the finals, and I'm going to go on to face whoever I need to face to become AEW World Champion again. Like yeah, man, that's all we want from you, yeah. And here comes his opponent, the other Owen Hart Cup finalist, Will Ospreay. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, with okay. Side note: these no offense, these Caucasian men's hair. What are we doing? I don't. One is someone said it on the internet, and it goes perfectly. 70s hair versus 90s hair. What? I know we all go to Supercuts. There's a poster with a bunch of haircut styles on the freaking thing. Do y'all need to revise the poster on the wall before you get a haircut? Because this ain't it. Both of y'all just say, I'm not sure what y'all doing, but I need y'all to do better. You are superstars. Get it together. I don't need to have long hair, but the contrast of long wanna be in sync and curly BGs. I need y'all to do better. That is just an observation. All right. So here comes Osprey, like I said, and he's on 10. As he always is, and I love it. And he comes in and he starts it off really nicely. He's like, listen, I've been a fan of Hangman for a long time. One of the greatest moments on in wrestling is when you took a group of ragtag misfits called the Dark Order and you gave them leadership and you brought them success. And when you became AEW World Heavyweight Championship, I'm sorry, champion. He's like, and it said, I know you've been going through some things, but after last week, we all saw something we haven't seen in a while, and I loved it. You actually smiled, man. I'm like, stop. He has been like literally his forehead has lines from when he was just being mean mugging everybody every freaking week, and this is like stop. And Osprey was like, I love this. It's actually the first time that we've ever encountered each other in any company. It's like one of them. It's a Mandela felt like that can't be right. That cannot be right.
Can't be right, right?
You're lying
I know
to
when he
me.
said it, I was like, really?
Nah. Ring of Honor, Red Pro, y'all done something. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't under Hangman. Maybe it was under another name. But you lying to people. He's like, but listen, I love this story. But the thing, but the one problem I have is it's not gonna happen. It's like, we don't need a good guy and a bad guy in the match, but it does make things a little bit easier. He's like, this is my story. Like your redemption story is getting in the way of my ascension. And so I'm like, nice line, nice line. I mean, that is a little faulty. That was like a nice line. That was a nice line. He's like, while you was going on your personal little business, I've been doing your job. Since you like taking care, taking pictures of with the kids and the fans, I was doing that, not you. Every week having a banger after banger, I was doing that, not you. All the media and press conferences, I was doing that, not you. So you just don't get, so you just get over your stuff and become world heavyweight champion. That is not happening, bro. I fucking said, bro. It feels like a bro should have been there somewhere up in there. And so he's like, it's like that's not happening. At Double or Nothing, I ascend and take my rightful place as AEW World Heavyweight Champion. It's like this is why you're one of the best. You're probably the best, but I don't like giving that title away willy nilly. But you're definitely top three. You are. Before we get to the other part of this segment, what do you think about these two dialogue with promos?
I probably it's really interesting. There are times when I have to take a second and look at myself and think, do I really enjoy wrestling as much as I say I do? Because I do say it when I say it, but then when I have issues with things, I think to myself, is that's a me issue, right? Because honestly, I didn't really care for this. Like I enjoy both these guys, and I thought that for what it was fine. I just I'm not a big fan of the whole complimenting your opponent and telling them, all the things you love about them right before you're forced to have to beat them up. I don't really care. Like I understand that there's writers in the back and that you're looking for what you want to say. You're looking for how to put meat on the bone, the best way to tell a story, all those kinds of things. For me, that's just, I don't like that traditional wrestling cliche. So, in that regard, Will coming out and saying, blah, 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 I love all this stuff about you. I get it. He got to the final point, which is you haven't been doing anything really. You've been, letting go of you've been crazy and haven't been taking care of business, and I have, blah, blah, blah. Again, it's fine. Will Osprey, for me, has a bit of a issue when he gets extremely fired up in his promos. He gets hard to understand between the accent and the graveliness of his voice. That as he gets hyper, gets more raspier. By the time that he's at the end of his yeah, it's hard to understand exactly the words that are coming out of his mouth sometimes, but beyond that, I mean, both guys are great. Both guys can talk, and it was fun. And obviously, as you're going to get to when Don Callis came out, it got even funner.
Oh yeah. And so Don Cal comes out and the boos are deafening. Like sometimes, like you can see, like they put the mic in the proper spot. They amp up the volume. This, like literally, you can see John Callis just yell, like literally, the top of his lungs, trying to yell out his freaking promo. And he's like, "Both of y'all are the stupidest dudes in the world. Cause y'all don't even
It,
know who you're in the freaking ring with. You're in a ring with a freaking crazy man who's burned his freaking wait. I'm doing it right. I'm sorry, no, I'm doing it right now. I have a bad memory. I saw this, but I don't care. There we go. Yeah, he's like, you don't even know who you're standing in the ring with. You're standing with a psychopath who had a mental breakdown to the point where he took his mentor's career, and so he was like, what you gonna do? And then Osprey choked up, like he tried to stop him. He's like, and so Osprey, he's been doing this a lot with people who've been with him, but he don't know when it's like, hey, bro, get your hands off me. But like he has Hangman. He's like, wait, and so he has to make it like, well, listen here, try now the debate that can baby face mode. Listen here, since you two want to talk, how about any of you two from the Doug Callis family face us two? And then Heyman was like, no, he's like, he's so after he choked him up, and Heyman has not took his eyes off his hand. Like, what is you doing, bro? And so before he gets his words out about you two, you find any two to face us two, he just slowly like, no. Before you even say anything, take your hands off my shirt. And then Oscar is like, oh, but that's that. No, he's like, no, like this is all their eyes. He's like, yeah, no, take your hands off my shirt. I'm not sure who you thought you was dealing with, but no, you don't. Like, but basically, you ain't my daddy. They'll tell you what to do. And then Don saw the opening. He's like, oh, well, look at there. Well, you know what? We will take that back. Next week, we'll see you. We'll see you two with two of the Don Callis family at Beach Break. And then so Don Callis family leave, and Hangman and Osprey just what you call it, just staring each other down. It's like, yeah, and yeah. It's like, I love Osprey, but it's like, how you gonna run me down about I wasn't doing my job and then go put me in the match? It's like, sir, I'm not sure what you thought this was, but I'm gonna take several steps back about deciding how I conduct my business, especially when you're my opponent. It's like, let's get this twisted. The old wrestling world is, oh, we're both baby faces doing together. It's like, no. We can be both baby faces, and I still don't like you. And so I love that little dynamic. We'll see what happens next week against the Don Callis family. It gotta be Takeshita, right? Not sure who teams with Takeshita, but it gotta be Takeshita in this match. Any thoughts? Or Cal Fletcher?
Don Callis is really on that very fine line between, I think, some actual go away heat and some good heat. Like, I think there are some people that are like, that dude really fucking annoys me and he just needs to go away. I do think there are some people that are out there that are like that. But for the most part, I think he's on a good side of the heat is the good kind of heat. He's slimy. He does a good job of being slimy and hateable. He came out and did that here as he always does. I'm here for two members of the Callis family versus Osprey and Hangman. You got to do. You want to continue to. You always have to have the coexist match, right? So, or can they coexist match? And that's what this is. This is a way to get there. It's fine. I mean, it should be fun. It's still ultimately, even though you have the Callis family, which is a big deal, and like you said, it's probably Fletcher and Takeshita, maybe. I don't know, but
Definitely one or the
uh,
other. If it's not
right,
one or
at
the other,
least one or
one
the
of
other.
the, yeah.
Um, let's see. It's still more about there's still the secondary thing between can Hangman and Osprey coexist, how that's going to work, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see. I'm still more interested in Hangman versus Osprey, in the finals. But I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is, and like I said, that's gonna happen double nothing. That's gonna be a great match. You tell me the next thing before I want to transition to
I
one
think we
thing?
got FTR. Let's see, FTR and Stokely. Stokely wants to know if Tony has a problem with FTR. They issued an apology, but week after week, he still has negative things to say about them. He called Stokely a snake in the grass. and he called Tony Schiavone a uh, pale, pasty piece of. Uh, Tony cuts him off, but gets pushed back in his seat. Wheeler tells Schiavone to sit down and relax. And then he says, Garcia, you want answers? You gave us no choice. You chose this. You turned your back on us. Um, he said his daddy told him he was going to have to learn some lessons the hard way. This is going to be one of them. Oh, yeah. Cash's daddy told him that there were going to be some lessons he had to learn the hard way, and this one was going to hurt them a lot more than it was going to hurt Daniel Garcia emotionally. Well, let's see. Dax tells Tony to tell Nigel they'll see him tomorrow night. Top guys out. Again, they're solid promo. The stuff with Stokely is great. I love Stokely. So, I don't I'm not a huge fan of the big interaction with the announcers. I get it, like announcers are there and a lot of times they're running down guys or whatever, the case may be. And so I get it if you're one of those guys, it might make some sense. I just don't necessarily care for that interaction. And it's one thing, even though I have no interest in Pat McAfee versus Gunther, it's one thing at least when the announcer is capable of doing something. The reality is that Tony Schiavone's what, 60 years old, and even when he was 2 years old, he wasn't going to do something, let alone at 60. So it's such low hanging fruit that I don't necessarily care for it. But again, it is what it is. Um, we'll let's see. We then
Oh,
had
sorry.
oh, go ahead. You want to say something about it?
Yeah, I was muted. I thought I didn't know I was. Now
Okay.
I'll say this. Like I said, it's a whole lot. I'm not gonna accuse anybody. But it's like I need y'all to watch each other's product. Cause like you said, it feels too much like Pat McAfee and Gunther, and it's like I need y'all
Right?
to be a little different. I need to be just a little bit different. And like you said, at least with Pat and Gunther, Pat had training. And it's like, who's going to avenge Tony? I think it's going to be Nigel. And if so, yes, freaking please. Not sure, but he's a tag team partner. But Nigel versus either Dax or Cash, I'm here for that. I'm definitely here for that. Like I said, besides that, I love them being together. Like Stokely and STR are doing the Lord's work. I love them being together. It's actually working, so keep it up. But see that, like just watch. Y'all can't be doing everything the other companies doing. And I'll say it in like where to come with that, we get to Collision. But yeah,
I know. I mean, I understand that it's wrestling and that you're not going to reinvent the wheel at the same time. Y- y- It happens way too often that you can't convince me that it's a coincidence when they run the same
yes.
storylines at the same time. I'm sorry, it happens too often to be coincidence. So, and here you go. You've got Michael Cole in the storyline, and well, Michael Cole and Pat McAfee in the storyline with Gunther and WWE, and lo and behold, you have Tony Schiavone in the storyline here with these guys. So, it is what it is. I mean, they're definitely doing it differently. It's not the same situation, and at the same time, it is. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if they had a little bit more originality, or at least don't run things exactly at the same time that somebody else is running it. You could be like, oh, hey, maybe, assuming that you're watching it or that you're paying attention. Oh, yeah, look, AEW is doing this now, or WWE is doing this now. Instead of me doing it right now while they're doing it, maybe I'll do it in a couple weeks when they start doing it. I'll hold on to it and do another because it's a good idea. I don't understand why it has to be done right then to like, I don't know. But,
It is what it
there
is.
has always been this promotional battle in wrestling, it feels like, and I don't understand it. Like, it doesn't make sense to me why WWE and AEW necessarily have to compete. I understand that they're different wrestling companies, and I understand that they all want views and all those things, but for all intents and purposes, they're not on the same nights during the week on a regular basis.
Yeah.
We know, being content creators here and fans as well, and knowing a lot of people that are fans and listening to a lot of other people, that most people that are wrestling fans watch both AEW and WWE. So I don't understand the whole. First of all, I don't understand the tribalism, And two, I don't understand why they can't just be friends. Why can't we just coexist in one universe where we all are in the wrestling universe and just go, as opposed to having it has to be a competition thing all the time. Who can try to do that better? Oh, you couldn't use that wrestler. I'll take him and use him better. Oh, you want to run your pay per view this time? I'll run my pay per view this time and see who does better. It's like, come on, man. Just work in harmony. It doesn't have to be confrontational all the time and combative. I just
No, I totally agree with you. And honestly, the wrestlers, this is just the owners and creative. The wrestlers are probably are exclusive friends. They don't give a good doggone about any of that. But it's more so with the company, and it's more so with the company and the owners. But the wrestlers, I think they're really good with just being cool with each other. Like I said, and like it's not. I don't like comparing, contrary to popular belief, we don't like comparing both companies. We just want both of you guys to be separate, and we just enjoy it. So stop. It's like y'all know. Come on, stop acting like you don't know what you're doing. So try to keep it as separate as possible. I understood the first segment of Tony Schiavone and FTR, but now you're doing it again. Like you said, now you're doing it again right before Backlash, and it's like, come on, Charlie. Who you fooling? Honestly, who you fooling? You ain't fooling nobody.
so are you ready for some TNA?
Just stop it! Stop it!
Tenacity, tenacity and aggression. Harley Cameron and Anna Jay are backstage.
Oh my
Harley
god.
Cameron says, I had your fat ass last week. You have my fat ass this week. And they both agree that they do. Harley Cameron says, yes, we have tenacity and aggression. We have TNA, tenacity and aggression. And Anna Jay says, tits and ass. And Harley Cameron says, too.
Yes.
Now, this it's funny for what it is. It's funny. Harley Cameron is getting over mostly because of her personality. I don't want to say just the humor part of it, just because her personality is infectious.
It-
And Anna Jay, for me, over the years, has been a little bland. She's not like she doesn't not have personality. She just doesn't have a ton of personality. Let's put it that way. And so putting her with Harley Cameron, lets her kind of get the rub from Harley Cameron's personality, which I like. And it lets her play off of Harley, and it seems like she's enjoying that. So I'm here for that. I mean, I like these two together. This feels fun. So we'll see how it goes. What do you think of this little continuation of these two?
this was hilarious. And honestly, when it comes to what's the word? Oh, is this setting women's back? I think the women in the situation, or just regular women, it's like, shut up. I'm gonna give you a key piece inside women's logic. We don't care when it's regular TV and it's funny as hell. We don't care. You have to like. I'm not talking about you. I'm just in general. You have to know the difference between, is that egregiously stupid, or it's like, that was just stupid. And like I said, this was just good, harmless fun. The other part was when Adam J was like, "Who wants to get choked out?" And, and I was like, "I do not that." And then he's like, "How about my back? Let's go." It's like you said, Harley's energy is just so doggone infectious, man. And like you said, when she puts it all together, she needs a title. It's still early, so you don't like. So I do not over I do not like over pushing somebody who's not ready for it. So I'm here for just giving her time. But yeah, just keep her on television, man. And like you said, Anna Jay, she hasn't found her character yet. And it was her and Taya, but Taya Conti or Taya Guevara,
High content, yeah,
Taya Conti, uh I'm not sure she's coming back to wrestle. So she needs a new
yeah.
part. She does need somebody to help her until she gets her own juice back. And Harley Cameron is the one. So it's like, yes, just go ahead and have some fun, have some good old fun. Please and thank you,
Yeah,
because this was hilarious. This was just fun.
agreed. That led into another AEW Women's Title Eliminator match. This is a four-way: Tony Storm versus Thunder Rosa versus Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford. A solid match. Um, I, Timeless Tony Storm gets the win with the chicken wing. Um, and Penelope Ford ultimately taps. Again, I don't want to beat a dead horse. I don't just want to sit here and say the same things over and over again. But here we have another title eliminator. I would have rather have seen this either been a fatal four-way title match or the three of them competing and the winner gets an opportunity to face Tony Storm for the belt at some future point. Doesn't have to be a pay-per-view. It could just be on a Dynamite or on a Collision, but the whole idea that you're defending your title without really defending your title. It feels like it takes away from the run from you. Why even have the belt if you're not really defending it? You are, but you're not. I mean,
Yeah.
more of your matches are still non-title matches than they are title matches. So, and I get it. You're the champion, and maybe title matches should just be reserved for big shows and pay-per-views and all those things. But at the same time, it's like I don't know. Um,
No,
I'm not necessarily the biggest fan. I failed to mention Megan Bain did get involved. She came down um, and made her appearance known. Um, and what do you think of this match and the post match stuff with Megan, or not post match, but Megan Bain getting involved and Tony Storm getting the win?
so okay. So for the whole eliminator match, I get it when it's needed, and when I say needed, going back to people not being, what's the word, like, yeah, they're in the spotlight, but they're not, like, there is no credit to them getting a match for the belt. So I get it in that aspect of okay, to make to look to the fastest way to look like a contender is to do a contender elimination match. Like, okay, fine, but like you said, we just did it on Collision twice, and now we're gonna hear that's three eliminator matches in a row. And I love like I said, I love Time Stormy Storm. She should be on television, but like you said, just let her beat someone for the actual belt. I think that's just way better. Now, match wise, this was great. This was great. Even though it was a four-way, it was kind of like you saw Thunder Tits working together, and that was always a good time. Uh, like, I love that Thunder Rosa didn't know what to expect, but she rides with it. Like, it was one segment in the ring where where Tony Storm was just like, she was on four. She was like, Thunder was like, oh, okay, and they do the Hardy Boys move where she steps on her back and does a fist pump to the face. I'm like, yeah, Thunder Tits. He said Megan Bain comes out, and I'm like, there is a, what's the word? There is an argument of why she's not in this match, and she's been feuding with Anna Jay and Harley, and I love Harley coming out with her her they're in Detroit, so she came out with a Pistons jersey and a pipe because we're not dumb baby faces. This is still. Oh yeah. Side note, Megasis. That was the freaking nickname I was looking for Megan Bain. I'm like, what is it called? They call her the Megasis. So, but yeah, Har-
Megasis.
Harley comes out with a pipe and just and runs Megan out of the ring. Except and Tony 1, 2, 3. This was a very fun match. But the thing about it was, it's like, why did she win though? More so, we have Double or Nothing, and even though we were getting Mercedes and her and Hater, which is going to be a great time, we Tony should be on the card. Like,
Yeah.
Tony is still the main event in the women, right? So she should have a match on the card, and this was probably the easiest way to do it. If someone wins this match, and they set that up for Double or Nothing. So it's like one of those, maybe hindsight's 2020, but it's like, yeah, she needs a match, and I don't think you should have an eliminator match at Double or Nothing, right? So it's like you do need to set up her next one if she's had the match at Double or Nothing, and she should. This would have been a good way to set it up, but you didn't, and that's fine. Side note: the kick to the cha cha from Tony, her look back. I'm all here for it. But again, all in all, in a vacuum, this was a good match. This was a very good match.
I mean, I don't. Again, if you're gonna do title eliminator matches, if they're non-title matches, then in theory, someone else should probably be winning at some point, especially when it's a fatal four way. I mean, that's the easiest time for a champion to take a loss, right, and to still stay protected because someone else can get. So I mean, yeah, the whole thing is weird, but like you said, in a vacuum, um, it's fine. The match was fun and all that stuff. Megan, Megasis. I don't know about Megasis, but it's fine. The name itself is whatever, I guess. I do like Megan Bain.
Yeah,
So yeah, no, I mean, they get all the ladies got to hit their spots, which was good. All the ladies looked good. It's good to see Thunder Rosa back on TV. But yeah, I mean, you've got to have, you should be having a Timeless Tony Storm match at Double or Nothing.
you should.
And, it seems weird that one of these potential women wouldn't have won here and had a shot at least. I know it seems odd, but okay. Guess it is what it is.
Okay.
Uh, so then, okay.
Oh, no, you did. Like you said,
Well, as I
okay.
said, we're back from commercial. Action Andretti and Leo rush through our ringside. Here comes Hurt Syndicate. They come out to talk about how this is where everybody says, well, where wrestling comes to happen, where the best wrestle, and who's going to step up, who wants to get hurt. Top Flight is here. Action Andretti and Leo Rush crew doesn't look very impressed, which is interesting. We obviously know that these four have had their little whatever.
Yeah.
So even though Action Andretti used to be with Top Flight, right? So um, it is what it is. Darius talks in the mic for a little bit. MVP wants to know if they want to be hurt next. Darius says they always get beat up, but they will not die. Dante
Yeah.
says they're the underdogs and no one has their money on them, but they've proven before that they can face off with the championship teams and hold their own. And Darius wants to know if we want to see a miracle. And then here comes MJF as he ambushes Top Flight and ultimately takes out Darius, bites his forehead. He busts both of them open. He hits the power bomb on the apron on Dante, and he yells at Bobby Lashley, "I am people." And that was basically it, which is what Bobby told him he needed to see. He needed to see MJF hurt people, so MJF came out here and hurt Top Flight. And Bobby is, I guess it still does. I mean, he looks kind of impressed, but not near as much as you would think he should. Maybe not at all, I guess, technically. MJF takes the mic and says, "Oh, you're not smiling." And Bob says he'll have an answer for him next week. So we'll see what ends up happening, I guess, next week. Maybe we'll get the final end to all of this. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Either join or don't join and go away. But like I said, this is a little okay. It's a little different because they actually had another team involved and MJF got physical and those kind of things. So it's a little bit different than what they've been doing. I still am kind of tired of this MJF hurt business thing already. I mean, it is what it is. But what about you? What do you think about the whole thing?
So this was I didn't like it. I didn't like it. All right. So we start off with listen, like we talked about this earlier on Collision. Of you need people for these for we need more bodies in the tag team division, and this is case in point. So MJF comes out with this challenge, and here's Top Flight, who have been losing a lot, and the people who beat them. And it's like they had their rivalry on Collision, so it's like that's why be very nice if you show little recaps. But yeah, uh, Top Flight and Action Andretti and Leo have been having this feud, and Leo and Andretti won the feud. So the whole, I think some people in creative all over the place really seem to believe that because they're a local baby face, we're gonna buy what they're selling. No, you love you cannot have losers. No offense to Top Flight, 'cause I love you to my core. Just be the next people be the next people to have this promo battle, and then they're just here to get beat up by MJ freaking F, and it's like, what are we? Do y'all even want your tag division to be all right? Honestly, like this was this, we get it, right? Bobby Lashley told MJF to hurt people. You could have hurt people. You could have hurt other people. You could have done. It would have been a better way to set up this situation than have someone answer the call, then get beat up by a singles wrestler. It's just like boo, boo to all this, boo, boo, freaking boo, and then MJF trying to be a bad guy with your freaking tank top and jeans on. And it's like, sir, keep the same energy. Beat someone else up in your freaking suit. How about that? But yeah, let's like the tag team division needs help, and this did not help at all. I need you to see the big picture outside of MJF and her business. You want an actual tag team division. You could have done this a better way. Just so yeah.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. What do you got next?
So what I got next, so we have a backstage segment with the Elite. They got some business to take care
Oh,
of.
okay.
Later on, we're gonna get Okada versus Kevin Knight. I want to say on Collision, and Okada, I love him as a heel, and so he's like, after I get done with you, it's gonna be night night, bitch. It's like I'm mad at myself for being popped for that, but I will pop for that nonetheless. Either way. And then here comes Ricochet, because tonight we're gonna get a 6-man tag. It's gonna be Ricochet and the Elite versus Speedball, Swerve, and Mark Briscoe. And Ricochet was like, let me take the lead. I know how to win. I know how to do this. And we are all pretty good together. This can work. Just follow my lead and we'll win. It's like, and they're like, all right, we'll follow your lead. I'm gonna rock with this for as long as we're gonna rock with this. Ricochet with the Elite is unfortunately a good time, so we'll see where it goes. We see where it goes. Then after Ricochet leaves, after they conduct their business, Elite goes into a room, and the room is with the Death Riders. Ooh. They go into the room. Maria Fear shuts the door. What is this? What is this meeting about?
What is this? What is this?
Like I said, great backstage segment telling us what's going to happen. All of these people are entertaining. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I mean,
Exactly.
I feel like the Okada bitch thing has been a little overplayed now. It's like that's like his. It's almost like his
Right.
Ron Simmons damn to a certain extent. I mean, it's not, but it is. That's how the impact it's supposed to have. I don't know. Like the first couple times it popped me. Now it's like I mean, it doesn't really quite the same. But I'm not an Okada fan, so Ricochet with the Elite is fun. I'm curious to see the match that we'll get to. Obviously later was solid. So,
Yeah.
um, and I'm curious to see ultimately, I guess, what the Jacksons have up their sleeves with the Death Riders. I'm assuming that's what we're supposed to take from it. Moxley's back there trying to talk them into something, would be my guess. Some sort of something to help him retain the title against Joe. Um, but we will see
So
how that plays out. But I mean, it's interesting.
yeah, like Double or Nothing's coming up, so I think y'all can assume it's going to be an Anarchy match, and that is fine. But please don't make the Anarchy match into the Hell in a Cell pay per view. Where it's like every year Anarchy. No, no, no. Some certain matches are gonna hit right when it's supposed to be two blood feuds. It's time to end this. You do it every year, it's not gonna get that spark of oh snap. It's finally gonna come to an end. So it's like, please AEW learn from WWE's mistakes. Don't do Anarchy every year because you think you have to. You don't have to. You don't have
Yeah,
to.
exactly. No, I agree. I mean, those are matches that should be set up like when you absolutely have, like you said, a faction on faction grudge warfare, not just, oh, we want to do the match again, so let's just generate 8 guys that have an issue or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, we'll just create your teams and they'll just go at it. Like, doesn't really work quite like that. It feels forced. It feels not organic and natural, which is how we want it to feel. We understand that it's all pre-scripted, but we don't want to know. We don't want it to feel pre-scripted. Like
Yes.
you know. So let's see. I think next I got Nick Wayne.
Yes.
Oh, was there something else you want to say?
Oh no. Okay. Okay. Because you're doing collision after this. I have no notes on collision. So let's take this
Oh,
over and you save your voice. I have nothing on collision on
all right,
Thursday. Okay.
all right.
So you said no. You are right. Our next match, the patriarchy father, Nick, Christian Cage, got his son Nick Wayne a match. He didn't know. He said it was one of my old partners. It's gonna be a surprise. They get into a ring. Detroit's on Rhino. And Nick and Christian's healing it up with a smile on his face. And Nick one is like, really, Dad? This is what you're gonna do to me? It's Rhino? I was like, what? She's like, sir, are you really my dad? You're not. Do you really love me? Probably not. I need you to understand that. The reaction was priceless. This was a very short match, and Nick Wayne got some offense as you should because you are always champ, I guess. Uh, Rhino did the spine buster and so perfect. He was going up for a gore, but patriarchy distraction ensued, and that led to Nick Wayne getting the 1, 2, 3. This crowd booed the crap out of this, and rightfully so, because it's like hometown Rhino. You don't even let him do the gore. I'm not even talking about him winning or losing, right? It's like no, you shouldn't be winning, you shouldn't be beating a newcomer or whatever. But you can't even let him do the gore though. It's like dang, he did a spine buster. And no offense, he's probably the best well suited in the world of ECW. It is RVD and Rhino who are still in ring shape. So this could have been a decent match. You could hit him with a gore, and then by distraction, Nick Wayne win. But no gore. Hi.
Sorry, couldn't hear
And so yeah, this hi boo boo, how are you?
you.
He's,
Yeah,
he's
he
like
gets he's got new shoes. Those are very cool.
I just want to show you the shoes. I don't care about her.
Oh yeah, he just they got a zipper on the back.
Ooh,
New shoes with a zipper on the back. What are you guys doing?
yeah.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Give me one sec.
No, you're fine. But yeah, so but yeah, that I'm not saying that Rhino should have beat Nick Wayne, but him not even doing the gore, it's like, come on, what are we doing? I need y'all to think outside of just the situation, and this could have been a better situation. That's all I'm saying. Match is over. Nick Wayne is going for his belt, but again, Christian Cage takes the belt away from him, and it's like, sir, what are you doing? So he goes behind Nick Wayne and we think he's gonna put the belt on him. He just drops on the floor and leaves. And Kip Sabian's like, I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna follow father. And Mother Wayne's like, don't worry, son, it'll be all right. Where are we going with this? I think it's like what's the plan? What are we doing? Where are we going with this scenario? Because I'm tired. This is dumb. And especially after that match where you didn't even let Rhino get a gore. But any thoughts?
I honestly, and this is a take that a lot of people don't like. I've never been the biggest Rhino fan, so it is what it is. Like, I don't necessarily have a whole lot of issue with Rhino, whatever. That being said, like feeding a legend like Rhino, I mean, I can say he's a legend. I understand that a legend like Rhino to Nick Wayne in essentially a squash match per se doesn't necessarily have the greatest feel to it. Nick Wayne has some more dues to pay before he should be beating Rhino quite like that. But at the same time, it is what it is. The Christian Cage, Nick Wayne stuff, obviously that feud is coming. I mean, it's just a matter of time before Nick Wayne punches him in the face and separates himself. The question becomes, do they battle over Mama Wayne? Is she in the middle in a shark cage? The winner gets her. Whatever the case may be, does she actually turn her back on Christian? However that all works out.
Yeah,
I'm here for that. That has a lot of meat on the bone for me. They just have to get to it. They're taking too long to get there. Let's
yeah,
just get there and do it already. You've been oppressing this dude for a long enough time now that just these last 3 weeks, It would have only taken 1 week of being irritated as much as Nick Wayne is to punch him, let alone 4 weeks in a row now of being clearly irritated after taking this for the last year or two, whatever long it's been. So, like, it's not like it's only been 4 weeks. It's been 2 years or a year and a half or however long it's been. So, like, this is way long overdue. So let's get to it already. I
Yeah.
don't, like I said, I'm here for it. I think Christian versus Nick Wayne is going to be a lot of fun. And I think with the kind of the fallout of the patriarchy, and hopefully, if he's healthy, maybe the coming back of Luchasaurus at some point. Um, I'm here for all that. They just got to get to it. Let's just get to it already. The whole like, just like the face off and looking at each other is getting old. It's getting boring now. So
Like you said, sometimes you don't know where you know where we don't know where we're going with it, and it's fun. This is dragging out extremely slow, and it's like you said, get freaking to it, please.
get to it.
All right, and so now we're gonna have our family fun tag where we have the Elite and Ricochet versus Swerve, Mark Briscoe, and Speedball Mike Bailey. Listen, four ways are a lot, but trios matches are really like the less bodies, the better sometimes. And I think we've been having these fun matches for it's the third time, right? This is probably one of the best ones because like, it was less people and it was swerving in as well. like swerving in this one as well. That kind of makes it a little bit better. I'm not even going to hold you. I love how it started out where you say Ricochet was running his mouth, don't let me control it. And so when he had to go against Swerve, it was the Jacksons were not in his behind him. They were like, so it's like, what are you doing? It's like, no, you handle that, you handle that. And so Swerve just mollywops Ricochet, and then the Jacksons were like, okay, he learned his lesson. Now we can finally be a team. Let's go. And so yeah, again I say Ricochet and the Jacksons, it works and it shouldn't. It's so freaking weird. If they want to officially let Ricochet be in the Elite, go ahead. But it, uh, I've enjoyed all of the house matches, and this was no different. Like this was really really good. Mark Briscoe is the greatest at this, and Speedball is just in there doing his thing. And so we have a bunch of stuff going on. I'm just running it off. We have three people going over the top. Uh, Ricochet and the Elite doing their signature poses while Ricochet's in the middle. That was awesome. We have crazy enough. Swerve runs wild and and a quick roll up. 1, 2, 3. Matthew Jackson pin Swerve. That was insane. And it was so quick. It was like, everybody was like, wait, what? That's in the match. That right there. And it's like, I don't hate it, but like, that really was, I didn't see that coming. It was like, you actually let Swerve get pinned? That gone. But it's a great match overall. Like I said, I think we know Anarchy is coming up. And at this point in time, because Double or Nothing on May 25th. We need to finalize who's going to be on the team, right? It's like, so who's going to be on each team? Because like I said, these multi-man matches haven't had like, okay, the solid people that were in the matches was Speedball, Kevin. This is like out of the three matches, Kevin Knight didn't do this one, but he's doing them with Okada later on. It was the Elite, Okada, Kenny, now Swerve, Mark Briscoe. It's like, so I think we need to pinpoint who's going to be in the Anarchy in the Arena match. Like right now, like I said, May 25th is less than 2 weeks away. So we need to get more defined of who's going to be in that match and who's facing who. But match wise, this was great. This was so much fun. Any thoughts?
Again, I mean, like you said, I agree with basically everything you said. These six guys are all amazing. So you get what what you're going to get in the ring, work wise. Um, I understand that there are certain signature things that people do, and there's nothing wrong with that. I find myself getting bored with teams or wrestlers where I feel like it's very formulaic. Their matches tend to be formulaic. Like you can always basically
Yeah.
count on one, two, three, four things to happen. It doesn't always happen in the exact same order, but they're going to happen at some point. And I'm starting to feel that way a little bit about the Young Bucks at times. And so, in that regard, it is what it is. That being said, they're still amazing. They're still fun to see. They're still fun to watch. But in the words of Michael Cole, vintage Bucks, right? I mean, you know
Yeah,
what you're going
yeah.
to get, and it's like they have a checklist of things they need to hit each match, but it's the same checklist. So, gotta hit that, gotta hit that, gotta hit that, and it's like, okay, I get it, and at the same time, you guys are so talented, you can mix it up. Hold something back from this match and save it for the next match. Those kind of things. Like, there are certain things you don't have to do. You don't have to do the stereo EVP triggers every single match more than one time sometimes in a match. It's like, I get it. And don't get me wrong, there's super kick parties are fun. I also don't need 500 super kicks. I just don't. Like, it's just the same way I don't need Brock Lesnar giving me 15 German suplexes in a 10-minute match. It's,
Compare that.
like, Brock Lesnar, I understand is limited. So even though I can't stand it, it makes a little more sense. The Young Bucks are not limited in anything that they do. They can do any move they want. So give me more variety on a regular basis. I understand the classics, but it doesn't have to be overdone. So in that regard, I want the Bucks to step a little bit out of their comfort zone at times, but again, that's also what makes them amazing, right? Is that you're going to get a solid, great match with the Bucks. They're always going to come. They're going to give you something amazing. I did think it was very interesting that Matt Jackson got the pin on Swerve. I don't know whether we're supposed to read into anything about that or not. I don't know. Anarchy in the arena is definitely coming. Like you said, we talked about that, and I mentioned that a few weeks ago, feeling like, okay, we're coming up to one of these pay-per-views where you got to have a stadium stampede and anarchy in the arena, some sort of a war games type of match. And that we're starting to see that kind of formulate. There's going to be the AEW team versus, you know, essentially the EVPs and the Buggy Elite, right? So we'll see how it shakes out, whether it's 4-on-4, 5-on-5, and what it looks like in the end. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely coming. Like you said, if they're doing it at Double or Nothing, we got 2 weeks. You better get on it. Like, so, because they definitely haven't solidified anything yet. I mean, they haven't even mentioned an Anarchy in the Arena match yet, let alone solidify any kind of teams. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what ends up happening there. But this match was fun for what it was. And in a vacuum, it's great. All these guys are great. They hit their spots, and it's fun to watch. I mean, as one of those guys that is a huge in-ring work fan, this is what I like. I mean, this is where you've got guys that this is what they do, right? Where wrestlers come to wrestle, and it's everything that a lot of times you don't get from WWE or other companies. I use WWE mostly because they're the biggest one.
Yeah.
So I love that. So in that regard, this was perfect. It started in second gear, it ended in fourth gear, and it was amazing. So
I like that. All right. And so next up, we get a backstage segment, interview. Renee Paquette is trying to interview Osprey on his match at the Owen Hart Cup. And Mister, I want to stick my nose in everybody's business. MJF walks up to Osprey trying to start some mess. He's like, hey, buddy, how's it going? You know what? I'm just here to just tell you, I hope you win. I hope you win the Owen Hart Cup. So you can win, you're going to win back with WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So it'll be an easy dub for me, you know? And like, thank you. And so Osprey's like, oh, hold on, baby. How you know you're gonna beat off me? Last time I checked, we went bout for bout. I beat you. He's like, side note, how he's like, if we go up against each other, how about just drop it on your head again? By the way, how did you how's your shoulder feeling, bro? You getting the power in your arms back? It's like, and here comes mean MJF. So I'm gonna make this easy for you. No, this is what he said. You're the so I evidently this is the reason why they put instructions on shampoo bottles so you make it simple for you. I'm like, and Osprey, I love Osprey. He's like, that was funny. I'm not even gonna act like it wasn't. He's like, I want you to win because when we go 1-on-1 again, I'm going to prove to you why you're not on the level of the devil. He tries to walk away. He's like, hold on, bro. He's like, no, that's not how this works. Because I'm Will Osprey and I'm on another level. Now get out of here. And he's like, and Osprey goes to being charming. I'm so sorry, darling. He's like, Renee's like, it happens. I'm used to it. um, again, this is one of them temperature checks. They had this feud a couple of months ago, at the beginning of the year, and it's like, is it still hot? Yeah, it's still hot. So we'll circle back to this later on. I'm not sure. So like more so, the question is, what will be the next? We're gonna do MJF and Hangman, and evidently we're gonna do Hangman versus Osprey. And my question to you is, which one would you prefer them do first? Because we're definitely doing both, and I'm here for doing both. But it's like, what happened? What should go on first, just to spread it out, just so things don't get clumped up? Because MJF's a douche, but he's a douche that can run a good story in wrestling, and so he does need to be a part of the main event program. But like, yeah, so how you build this segment, and what feud should go first after Double or Nothing?
This segment's fine. MJF, like you said, has his fingers in all sorts of stuff, and I guess as much as they talk about uh, the AEW story being the Hangman Page story, I think there's equally as much of an argument for it being kind of the MJF story in some regards. I mean, I think there's a debate for that. He's been there since the beginning. He's grown with the company. He's been the face of the company now for a while. I still think he's the face of the company for all intents and purposes. Even though you have Moxley as champion and you've got the Swerve Stricklands and you've got a lot of great guys, the Will Ospreys, MJF, I'm not carrying it because you got a lot of good guys, but I still think MJF at the moment is kind of still the face of the company. So in that regard, him being um, everywhere makes some sense. Again, don't want to have him overextended. There is something to be said for having too many open storylines that you don't put a bow on, or too many like teases and then never get there type things,
Yeah,
or whatever. Like you said, they're testing the temperature on this again. Is there still interest in Osprey versus MJF? Yes, there obviously still is, as there should be. They're two of the best in the company, and Will's maybe the best wrestler on the planet. So in that regard, yeah, I mean, I think it's fine to keep MJF kind of in, for MJF to stay in the mind of Will Ospreay. I get that. And to stay in everybody's minds as, this is the guy that you follow through AEW to a certain extent. So I get that, which feud should go first? Oh, geez, I don't know. We're already getting whatchamacallit, right? Hangman and Ospreay as a result of the Owen, right? So in that regard, we're going to get that match first and foremost. And then, depending on who gets the win, they get Moxley, right? So, or who's ever the champion. It might be Joe. It could be whoever, right? But they get who's ever the champion. So that's going to be the winner's feud, and depending on who's champion, I mean, if if Osprey gets the win in the Owen, then you got Osprey versus Joe or Moxley.
yeah,
Fine. And if Hangman gets a win, you got the same thing. For me personally, I like Osprey better. So I'd rather kind of see Osprey, but at the same time, it feels like if you're ever going to do it with Hangman Page again, let him be champion, let him be the, kind of the you now's the time, right? It feels like this is kind of the time to do it. I don't know if there'll be a right time again. So
yeah.
it's been a while. He was champion 4 years ago now, or 5 years ago almost now.
It's
So like,
crazy, right? What it was right after the I want to say 2021 or 22. So definitely
okay, yeah.
years ago.
So
For
3 or 4 years ago already now. So, I mean, and, people said what they said about the run at the time, right? So, and a lot of people have been like, oh, he needs another one to try to make up for some of what happened in the first run. So, and I think that now is probably the time to do that. Will Osprey, for all intents and purposes, has a long future as long as he stays healthy. I'm not saying Hangman doesn't, but a very, I think his ceiling is a lot higher, and he's going to have the belt plenty of times when it's all said and done. Hangman might only have it one more time. I don't know, you know. So if you're gonna do it, and get it done. Let Hangman have his moment. Otherwise, you know, let Will Ospreay win and let the future start now, and let Will Ospreay beat Moxley, or let you know. Okay, if Ospreay is going to win the Owen,
Yes.
I want Ospreay to beat Moxley.
Oh, in
I
my mind.
don't want Ospreay to beat Joe. It's too soon. If
Okay.
Joe is the champion, that means his run is going to be really short, right? Because that match is going to happen soon. So I don't want Joe to only have the belt for a month or something. So I don't know how you work all that out. If Joe beats Moxley, I can Joe beating and Hangman wins, Joe beating Hangman. I mean, makes more sense than Joe beating Mox or Joe beating Osprey, just because I never can imagine how Osprey loses just because he's Osprey. It's always an adventure to me to see how they do that, how he finds a way to lose.
Yeah.
Um, but so I don't know. Right now, I'm really, really torn because I want Joe to be champion, but I also don't want him just to lose it in a month to either Hangman or Osprey.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I'd rather have Osprey beat Joe or beat Moxley for the title. And then for me personally, honestly, even though Joe wants the belt, Moxley, Joe doesn't need the title for me. The
Mm.
title could go to Osprey and he could do something else with it, and we could still have the end of that Joe Ops Death Rider Moxley feud in some way
Yeah.
without the title. And let the title, you know, let either Hangman and or Osprey be the champion and do something else. I'm not really sure right now. What I'm talking about, I'm so up in the air.
Yeah. No. Either way, the next phase of AEW is going to be great. Either we're Hangman's a champion, Joe or Osprey. It's going to be highly entertaining. We'll just leave it at that. How about that? All right. And so next we get some like you say, like format of the show. It's like we could do better. We could do better because I said next another backstage segment where it's an interview with our women's Owen Hart Cup finalists, which is what's his name? Sorry, her name, Jamie Hayter, in true Scooby Doo fashion. It's like, ma'am, are you just trolling us now? Cause at one point, okay, it was just Farrah Fawcett hair, cool, bed, whatever. But now you just in straight up 70s gear, like your pants are extremely too tight, bell bottomy with the orange shirt and the scarf and the glasses. I don't like. Can we get an explanation? I need an explanation, baby. Like this is not hitting how you think it should hit, and we love you enough to tell you this so you can do better and change it. We want classic hater back, please. But I digress. And so she did an interview with Renee, and she's like, listen, I'm not sure what Mercedes' problem is. I'm not sure why she keeps underestimating me. I don't claim to be anything other than me. I'm not the best. I'm not the worst. I'm just me. And it's like, well, you didn't have to say that because you could kind of brag a little bit that you're the best. Like that just kind of give you pause. Like, hold up, you just beat a bunch of chicks. You could say you are the best. I'm just saying, but. But side note, and so she's like, she's like, and who's Mercedes to say that I am not what a champion should be? I think that she should not be. I'm not going to have what's his name. I'm not going to have on her legacy be on the shoulders of Mercedes Monet. And as she keeps participating, here comes Mercedes with a bow to the back, trying to fight, but it's Hater. So it's like, ma'am, you're going to have to do more than just hit her in the back. So a brawl ensues from the interview room up to the crowd, and Hater is doing her business. And so she tries to do the Haterade, but Mercedes runs off. Hater thinks it's done. She's like, you keep running, kiss. But Mercedes comes back, two bows to the back of the head, and then she puts her in the Monet statement, and she's yanking back. The freaking refs are coming in trying to break it up. Like, no, not yet, not yet. She's been learning a lesson. She like, and of course, as she's doing the Monet statement, she's just in his ear. She's just in her ear. What you think? You think you're gonna win? You think you're gonna beat me? And it's just like she finally releases her. Look at the whole Owen cup. That's it. I like it. I like it. Besides, Hater not wanting to brag on herself, and it's like, ma'am, that was kind of like, it's like, that really gave me pause. I'm the best of the world. Like, you could say you're the best. You didn't have to say that, but I love, a brawl will always hype stuff up. A serviceable segment. Any thoughts?
No, I mean, I thought it was fine. I mean, it served fine to hype the matchup. You're right. I mean, I don't have any idea what's going on with Jimmy Hater and her character and look. Like, I said it when she first came back. She had the bright red hair that she looked like she was the '70s Jamie, and she's just doubling down on that. And clearly, this is the new, you know, character, '70s Jamie Hater, but it doesn't make any sense. There's no background to why, or what's going on or anything. So, I mean, it is what it is. She looks fine. I mean, but at the same time, okay. And then her and the stuff with her and Mercedes is fine. I'm here for it. I want to see the match. I think the match will be solid. I thought Mercedes came off good here. The reality is that Mercedes is a little undersized, so the idea that she has to attack Jamie is all reasonable. Not to mention that she's clearly a heel, and that's her style anyhow. So all that works well. And I thought that it came off well with Monet's statement at the end and her standing over Jamie. Jamie's already a little bit of the underdog despite being the bigger
Yes.
woman.
Yes.
And I think that this adds to that a little bit. So people are even more excited ultimately to see Jamie probably get the win or, try to get the win over Mercedes. I don't know who's going to actually win, but it should be fun.
Yeah. All good things said. All right, one last promo, and then we're gonna get to a match. I promise. So we have old girl from Ring of Honor. Don't know her name. Sorry, don't have time to explain it. Interviewing Willow, and this is the first time Willow's been back since her mixed tag with the Death Riders and Moxie getting planted on her neck, and she was like, you know what? That happened in the past. And he's like, I'm still pissed off. I'm still holding my hands with Death Riders. It's like I see Marina. And she rings back at no other than Statlander that holds her back. And they're still not friends. I still don't know. I was like, why? No, it's like y'all still not friends. I get some stories they should have the whole we gotta work through our issues. You hurt me so well, but if with this particular story, this story, I don't care. It's like y'all did a very no offense, AW. Y'all did a very bad job with the Willow and Statlander feud, and then you broke up her and Stokely out of the freaking blue. That was boo. So as of right now, I don't care if it takes how long it takes for us to be friends. Just be friends. Get this over with. No offense. I don't care. But for the storyline, so Statler was just like, look, I'm sorry. I don't know how I'm telling the story. Are we cool? And so she's like, look. And so Willow was, she's still on her feelings. She's like, listen, I know how you feel. I know you feel bad with losing the Owen Cup. Last year I lost because of you. And so Statlander was gonna walk away, and Willow, she's back to her. She's like, certain people, you can't be mad forever. She's like, look, we got issues, but how about we just work it out in the ring? A match between you and me, Collision. Deal? Handshake. We're gonna get the match at Collision. We're gonna talk about later on. Statlander versus Willow. I'm all here for it. Any thoughts on this little segment?
I mean, anytime a Willow's on my TV, I'm happy. So in that regard, it's nice to see. But, they still have not done, in my opinion, enough with her. Um, and I still want more for Willow. I feel like we've been here, done that. This isn't her first rodeo with Statlander, so
Yeah.
there's enough women out there that you shouldn't have to run this back. It doesn't seem like maybe but again, it is what it is. Me personally, as much as I think that Jamie Hayter and Mercedes is going to be fine. I was really hoping that at some point they were going to work out Willow being Mercedes' main feud and opponent. I mean, I thought they wrestled well together previously when Mercedes beat her for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship.
Yes.
It felt like they never really put a bow on that feud, and I was kind of hoping that Willow would get maybe that spot, but
Yeah.
obviously they've given it to Jamie Hayter, which is fine, I guess. I don't just like Jamie Hayter; I just really like Willow. So,
Yes.
um, I don't know. I guess it'll be fine. The match will be fine. I just want more for Willow than being in a feud again with Chris Statlander.
Yeah. Uh, I agree with all that. All right. So next, we're finally back to what we were here for, wrestling. It is our Okada versus Kevin Knight match, and Okada comes out in his beautiful robe. Rainmaker, you are here. Kevin Knight comes out and he gets attacked by freaking Roosh. This is a Collision storyline where they had a match on Collision, and I want to say in some kind of capacity, Kevin Knight beat Roosh for $100,000, but Roosh is a petty little man, so attacks he brutally attacks Kevin Knight. And here comes people like Bailey, his partner, to run Bush off. And he's like, "Bro, you good? You still want to do this?" And he's like, "I got this. I got this. Bro, are you sure? Because he jacked you up." And he's like, "I got this. I got this." So Spivak's like, "All right, let's hear it for him. He's probably gonna die. It's fine, but it's fine." It's like, but so yeah, so Kevin Knight he's in the ring, and Okada don't care. So he's like, he immediately attacks Kevin Knight, as you should. No, like, hey, no offense, but when the bell goes ding ding, they say yes. What am I supposed to do? Not go for it? I'm sorry. And so he brutally attacks Kevin Knight in the middle of the ring. In the middle of the match, though, Kevin Knight actually gets the one up on him. And it's like, okay, cool. Kevin Knight actually gets some offense. I love. You pointed out first. I love the standing reverse frog splash. That is
Right?
such a beautiful, nice move. But Kevin Knight, baby, you hurt. So all in all, Rainmaker 1, 2, 3, Okada for the win. And because Okada's a petty man as well, he just keeps rainmaking freaking Knight. It's like, sir, you saw him just get beat. And like side note, the look on Okada's face when he gets beat up, he's just like, I don't care. Are you gonna do like, the whole deadpan? I don't care what's happening in front of me is good evil work. Like I said, he keeps rainmaking him until Speedball comes back and runs off Okada. If we have to put in our bets on who's going to be in the anarchy match, it's definitely going to be Okada. It's definitely going to be Okada. Knight has a 65% of being in the match as well. But great match. Great match. I love that they're putting Knight on the screen every week. And this was cool. The Root stuff, fine. Like sure, fine. But like but after Double or Nothing, we do need to kind of zone in on who Knight should be facing. Like his next actual program. Like who's your actual nemesis on the show. But all this was good though. This always was fun. Any thoughts?
Here we are again with another title eliminator match, which we've already, I've harped on a lot already, but it is what it is. And the champion getting a win in a non-title match again still doesn't really make any sense. If you really want to push Kevin Knight, he should have got the win here in some way, shape, or form, especially after getting the beatdown from Roosh. So,
Yeah.
I mean, this makes Kevin Knight look extremely gutsy. He took the beat down from Roosh, came back, still had a very solid match with Kazuchika Okada, who a lot of people consider one of the best wrestlers in the world. So, um, my, Okada beating Kevin Knight, yes, that makes sense. Kevin Knight being beat up first makes Kevin Knight continue to still look a little protected
Yeah.
because it didn't take Roosh and Okada, but Roosh and Okada essentially worked together, not together, but to beat Kevin Knight. So
It affects.
let's say Okada used the advantage that Roosh gave him to ultimately beat Kevin Knight. Let's put it that way. Now,
Yes.
Okada is one of the best wrestlers in the world by some people's standards. He's holding a title, and yet now you've made Okada and the title the third wheel to your Roosh and Kevin Knight story. Like, the whole thing is fucking weird. Like, what are we doing? Like, okay, I guess it is what it is. Like, I mean, you have champions that aren't really doing anything. I mean, not doing anything. This match is fine. It's a solid 10-minute match, but there's nothing. Okada has nothing invested in it. I mean, at this point, like, even if he loses, all he has to do is face Kevin Knight at some point again, who he should be beating anyhow. I mean, he's Okada, and this is Kevin Knight. Like,
Yeah,
so, I don't, it is what it is, I guess. But, I really wish Kevin Knight had gotten the win here. It would have made him look even that much better. But like you said, we've got him on TV, which is great. We're getting to see all that he can do. I really hope that when we do, when the dust is settled and we have the Anarchy in the Arena match booked, that he's involved in it. I think that would be a great spot for him, a good rub for him. So I hope for that, and I hope that this is, an indicator of a lot to come for him. I'm interested to see what they do ultimately after this, after Double or Nothing, with him, and hopefully it doesn't end up in just some sort of mid card situation. Hopefully they continue to put him, in these big spots. So, but yeah, I mean the whole thing was weird. I thought.
no, I totally agree with you. All right, and so now it's time for the main event: Samoa Joe versus Claudio. And I love the setup of this is where it seems like every time it seems like Moxie, like you said earlier, told Joe your people are jumping like flies. He's like, so I'm like, so because that's happening, I'm taking one of your men out. And I love Claudio. Claudio and Cesaro are two different freaking people. And it hurts my heart that it feels like we're not ever going to give him the title. It's just like, why? He's so freaking good. Like Claudio is that dude. Claudio is him. But I don't know. So I don't know why y'all don't want him to be fully him and win the title or win a title. It's like, and that's the Ring of Honor. And sorry, that's the Ring of Honor title. It's not. I'm sorry. It's not a thing. It's not hype on. It's not hype on the market on a marquee. No offense. It's not. But yeah, like so. I said because Claudio is so good. In case in point, this match was so good. I love like I don't have to say all this stuff about Joe because Joe's won a title and and Joe is Joe. No offense, Joe is Joe. If you don't know about Samoa Joe, then you missed out. Like I said, this match was so good. It was a Hoss fight to the best, to the third degree in every which way. I love the like again, I'm just gonna point some stuff out. So they go over, they're outside of the ring. Samoa Joe does his patent sit Joe down slam. I love that. A kick to the face, and then Clyde gets the upper hand, and he's just slapping the crap out of Samoa Joe's chest, and it's like, sir. And it's like, yeah, I like, oh, so we're just gonna do strong style now. All right, bet, let's do that. And and it's like it's just so freaking good. They tried, and so here comes the D riders trying to do a distraction, but I won't say Wardlow so bad. His name is Powerhouse Hobbs, but I won't say Will Hobbs. Will Hobbs comes out with a chair and you know you keep him at bay, and Samoa Joe chokes out Claudio and for the win. Of course he should because he is now he's your trio's champion, not Claudio. So it's like, yeah, so he should win. He should win. And so, like I said, so after the match, you see Moxley trying to get inside the ring, and Powerhouse has to cheer like, oh, you want this? You want? How bad do you want to save your friend? It's like I don't. It's like you have a chair, so I'm not stupid. And so they take. So Joe said, "I'm taking one of your people out." And so him and Hobbs just go right tat on Claudio's back that chair, and they stand tall. Next week we're going to get Joe versus Moxley in a cage, while Moxley is just in sense is like, ugh. How am I gonna like the feeling of Moxley's face is how am I gonna beat this sucker? Even though he still has Yuta, if he had to choose, I'm pretty sure he would want Claudio by his side than Yuta. No offense, no offense. But a great way to end Dynamite, and this was a very this was cool. This was a cool show. It was cool. Your thoughts on the match?
I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Joe and Claudio are both those guys, right?
Yeah.
I agree with what you say. I think it's a shame that neither WWE nor it appears AEW as of now sees Claudio the same way that I see him or you see him, which is that he could definitely be the face of the company. I mean, he could be your world champion. He's got all those pieces. He can do it all. I another one of those guys. Like I don't want to say a disconnect because he often and especially at AEW, he's been all around the main event
Yeah.
without being involved in the title per se. So they've done a good job of keeping Claudio on TV and that kind of stuff, but it still has never been enough for him as an individual wrestler for me in AEW. I feel like even though WWE did never use Cesaro the right way and never quite gave him his due, I still feel like if you took his singles career in AEW versus his singles career in WWE, he had more success in WWE singles wise than he's had in AEW. The bulk of his work he's done in AEW has been tag teams, trios, or as this, member of this faction. So
Yeah.
um, in that regard, I would love to see Claudio more just Claudio on his own, doing his own thing, competing for titles and actually winning some titles. So um,
Mhm.
ultimately, I'd love to see Claudio stop just being the good soldier, and actually he doesn't treat Claudio the way he treats Yuta. Well, he doesn't treat anybody the way he treats Yuta. So Claudio can't get mad like Yuta gets frustrated, but at the same time, like at some point, I want to see Claudio say this is enough or something. And I want Claudio versus Moxley at some point. I want that meltdown, and I want that to happen. Ultimately, if Claudio can win a title at some point, that would be amazing. But in the meantime, I'd love to have him versus Moxley. I'd love to have him in other more main event type matches, and I think he deserves more. Joe is that guy. Joe is going to be competing for the title against Moxley next Wednesday. So for that, I understand why he gets the win here. You're not going to have him take the loss 3 days before, or 5 days before he goes into the title match. Really, this was here so that it looked like Moxley or Claudio could beat up Moxley, could beat up Joe and soften up Joe for Moxley, before the cage. Not sure it really worked out that way. I mean, Joe did get the win. I mean, Claudio had his moments, and definitely, put some hurt on Joe, but not enough in any way to like really damage him. And when it really boils down to it, Joe dropping Claudio on the chair with the suplex while Moxley watches on, to make up for Shibata and Hook. I mean, Joe definitely ended up, on the end of this battle, the winner of this battle on this episode tonight. Um, I mean, it came off well. It does a great job for hyping up their match next Wednesday, which I'm excited for. I honestly don't know who's going to win. I honestly don't know who's going to win. I feel like more often than not, I feel like especially with Moxley having the title and recently, it feels like Moxley's going to get the win often. But here, I don't totally know. I feel like Joe is Joe, and Tony loves Joe, and everybody knows that Joe's that guy. And he's getting pushed again. He's being rewarmed up again here, really hot. So it wouldn't surprise me at all for Joe to get the win. So I thought for a main event, this was really, really good. These are two amazing wrestlers. What's really interesting for me, when you look back on it, Orton and Cena
Mhm.
haven't been wrestling a whole lot longer, or maybe even less time than maybe a Samoa Joe and Claudio. Like career wise, the amount of time they've been in the ring, like the
Yeah.
length of their careers.
Yeah.
When I watch Cena and Orton, I think, why am I seeing this in 2025? These guys are too old. What am I? I don't have that feeling when I'm watching Claudio and Joe, even though it's that same kind of thing. Like, they've both been around 15, 20 years. They're both longer than, but it doesn't feel like that. It still feels like, and I'm sure that's because they're both more on a day-to-day basis active and going. So it still feels like they're right in the groove of their careers too. But it's just an interesting dynamic to me to see guys that I think are somewhat similar as far as where they are in their career as far as time-wise goes, but they're in totally different places in their career, and in my eyes, when I watch them wrestle in the anticipation of us, like, so, it feels like Orton and Cena have done everything they can where Joe and Claudio are still doing what they can do in their career, still trying to achieve things in their career, right? So even though Joe's done a whole lot, another title run in AEW would be great. Something maybe a little bit better than the first one. And Claudio, anything title run would be fun. So beyond, something that's a joint tag team or trios title. So, I mean, I'm here for this. I thought solid main event. The show was a little down. I'll give it a grade while I'm rambling on here. I'm gonna give this a B minus this week. A little too much talking, a couple of not bad segments, but just I don't care about that type of segments backstage. And in the ring, it was some solid matches. The main event was definitely the best part of the show as far as the match wrestling goes. So I thought it was fine, but I'm going to give it a B minus.
Okay. I'll give it a. I'll give it. Let me think here. Uh, I want to say C. No, because
A C.
I want to say like, listen, I could not stand that Hurt Business part. That was the dumbest thing on the face of the earth. It was a whole lot of talking. And it's like back to back segments. It's just like like shut up. Like no offense, but it's like emotionally shut up. A bunch of fine. Like I said, all the matches were just fine. They weren't spectacular. They were just fine. And it's not bad. It's just fine. So ah, see, it was fine. It was fine.
I mean, I can't argue with that. I mean, I wasn't, I'm right there. C, B plus C. So I mean, it is what it was. I mean, I agree. Too much talking, and there was some down things. So all right. So that was AEW Dynamite, and so this week because I'm assuming it's because of hmm, whatchamacallit,
Basketball.
backlash on Saturday night that they decided not to run Collision on Saturday night and that they ran it on Thursday.
Yeah.
Um, so we do have one more Collision from 2 nights ago, May 8th.
It was on a
Um, and
Thursday.
listen, huh?
It was on a Thursday.
It was on a Thursday. It was on a Thursday. In competition with TNA, I guess, technically, because TNA is on Thursday. But I'd be
Sure.
interested to see. I want to see what the ratings look like for Collision on Thursday night as opposed to on Saturday night. Just curious to
Yeah.
see if there's any difference. Because I've talked a lot about the reason I think Collision doesn't get as many views is because when it's on. So it'll be interesting to see if it got more views on a weeknight when there was less going on. So
Yeah,
uh,
that'll be very interesting because especially I think it'll be better for storyline wise. Like having it back to back. Like you said, we do want it to be divided, but it's like if you had that one story where it's like, oh, it ain't over. I'll see you tomorrow. Beat, and it's like heck yeah, oh my god, like that would like if the numbers are good, that would be a great way. That would be a great little hanker or little cliffhanger. Sometimes that would be really fun.
yeah, no, I agree with that. So that Collision from Thursday night special episode. It opens with your AEW Women's World Champion in the balcony box, timeless Tony Storm, who opens with a great line. So many men have taken their shots at me, and here I feel like Abraham Lincoln. I'm just saying, like the entendres, all of it is just it never ceases to make me laugh. Like wrestling has done a lot of outrageous stuff, and very few things actually shock me. But even though she's been doing it now for a while, every time she does it, it still is like Tony's saying that and doing that. Like it feels like I don't know, like it's still shocking to me every time she says something like that, or the way she continues on in the promo, basically implying sexual intercourse or fighting. Like the whole thing was very entertaining. But she talks about Mercedes Monet. She talks about Jamie Hayter. Ooh, and she is, let's see, what does it say? That the winner gets a shot at her, ultimately, right? So, um, she's
Oh,
interested. She'll take on either one. It doesn't matter.
no,
And
no.
that, so
So
again,
no, no. Oh, so basically, she. So yeah, I don't like to quote her because I don't do her justice, but I'll try this time. So she was like, my first time. And I remember my first time. It was sweaty. It was messy. It was painful, but I loved it. And after all of that, I wanted more. But no, but no pain has ever been greater than fighting for this. And now so she has the AEW World Heavyweight Championship in her arm. And she was like, I'm not waiting for a CEO or a hater. So next week I'm going to have my opponent for double or nothing. And it's like so he's like, and of course more double entendres. It's between he's like, I'm going to sit on it. I'm going to write it. And it's going to be it's like we're on cable. So it's fine. But it does feel like, do we have a censor like do we have a list of stuff that we can't like can we like does she have a list of okay, that was too far? Does she have that list? Yeah, you just need to know if she has that list. So I think I'm not sure. Like even though we're back to back, I think she's she's heard someone say, "Hey, enough of the eliminator matches. Let me have an opponent for the actual belt." Not knowing who it is, that it is that's a great. It's like yes, let's actually have a championship match. Let's do it. Thank you. And this was like I
yeah,
said, this was a perfect way to start it. It was like you said, just entertaining as hell. It was.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to compare people or knock anybody else, but like when you have talking, if it's this kind of talking, I'm okay with it. Like this was great. So, um,
Yeah.
next, we had the Paragon. They're not happy about their loss to FTR on Collision last Saturday. They still pat each other on the back until the grizzled young veterans, who I almost forgot were even in AEW,
Uh-huh.
interrupted them and say that they think the Paragon has gone soft and they're ready to fight whenever they want to fight the veterans. Juice. Oh yeah, yeah. It surprised me. I was like, really? Yep. So yeah, like I said, I almost forgot that they were here. But I'm here for Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly versus the Grizzled Young Veterans, or I guess you could use the Freebird rules. I suppose Adam Cole could wrestle at some point with one of them in the tag team. But no, I'm here for that. I mean, I thought I, you know, I was surprised to see the Grizzled Young Veterans, but it was a happy surprise. I hope that that's an indication that maybe they're back from whatever was going on and that they're going to be here. So I don't know. But what do you think?
This was fine. I was just as surprised as you were because I'm like, did it have a contract? They're still under contract. Okay, bet. Let's have a match. Probably just gonna be on Collision. Um, gonna say to the cast, come home. We all fix it. We need we need more bodies in the tag team division and better stories. So hopefully this will turn into something really good. So fine, fine segment.
Let's see. We had our first match of this episode. It was Ricochet versus Angelico. Tonight was the night for so far for bringing people back that I thought didn't realize we're still here. I almost forgot Angelico was still here. He was here with Serpentico, who I almost forgot was still here as well. Um, but Angelico versus Ricochet. Ricochet's been everywhere. So ultimately, Ricochet gets the win with the spirit gun, a little under 10 minutes in a salt match. I mean, Angelico looked good, I thought, for what for not being around or that all that often.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that can come in and just have a decent match at any time. And Ricochet's a good wrestler. I mean, this wasn't like an A+ situation. It was like, oh my God, greatest match of the night or anything. But it was solid for what it was, and it reminded me that I miss Angelico, who I really enjoy.
Um,
I think part of the problem with Angelico is that he's so mat oriented that I just think the wrestling itself doesn't quite get over. I don't think people appreciate how good he actually is in the ring with his in ring work. So And unfortunately, he doesn't have a whole lot of personality. So, at least not that I've experienced, which I think stands in his way a little bit. So, but like I said, Ricochet got the win here. Post match, Ricochet doing some heelish stuff.
Real
Zach
hellish.
Gowen is in the crowd. He goes over and harasses him. He beats up some security, offers some commentary at the same time, and then ultimately whips out scissors, cuts one of the guards' hair, one of the security guards' hair. Zach Gowen comes over the guardrail into the ring. Ricochet basically kicks him or beats him up, and then rips off his prosthetic leg and runs up the ramp. And then, like at the top of the ramp, basically like lifts his one leg and puts the prosthetic kind of next to it and like limps away, like he's mocking Zach Gowen. In what is a definitely if anyone, not that anyone had any doubt about Ricochet being a heel in any way, shape, or form, this is one of those moves that absolutely solidifies that Ricochet is truly a heel in every way, shape, or form, as this was an incredibly heelish move. What did you think of Ricochet post match? The match and then post match.
Um, this match was like you said. This match was good, and like you said, in Helico, I'm not gonna try to compare him to grappling, but his style is very much so unique that he has to be in the ring with the right people so you can see the brilliance of his style of wrestling. But like you said, okay, I think I'm not sure, but it feels like he's been in Ring of Honor, and that's why we haven't seen him in a minute, which is fine. But no one's watching Ring of Honor, so we think these people don't have a job anymore, honestly. So it was nice to see him again. Match was great because both these good are good. Both these dudes are good, and it's Ricochet, right? It's Ricochet. And post match, I said I was gonna talk about it. Um, so this man, correct me if I'm wrong, he was in WWE 2020, like he had a program in 2023, and I think the program was Stephanie brought him in, and it was in Vince and Stable was basically assaulting him. Like yeah, he was actually a wrestler. He was actually a wrestler. And 2003 he was on SmackDown, and Stephanie gave him a chance, but Vince was healing it up and kept making him get in the ring with Brock Lesnar. And Stephanie's like, he's my redemption story. I'm trying to be a better person. I want to say that was him. So great to see him again. Now, fast forward, this was fine, right? But it feels like they were doing this because someone else was doing something else, i.e., the TLC match on SmackDown. A dude in the crowd, I want to say an amputee, just he took off his own leg and said, use my leg," and Montez, as a crazy person he is, took the leg, hit Gargano, tossed it back. It was like, yeah, he used it. It feels like y'all are copying, and I don't want that for y'all. I don't want y'all need to do that because, like, again, you like we're not trying to accuse, but really, it's like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, they had that match, and all of a sudden now you find you found old dude from 2003 to have this storyline. It really is like, come on, Charlie, you don't have like play. Stop trying to. It didn't. It's not bold well for you. Even if this was in the books, right? What? Oh, sorry. Even if it was in the books earlier, do this. Have some time to separate it. Like do it a month after. Do it 2 months after. But it being so close, it makes us compare it, and that's not. I don't like doing that, especially when the dude just wants, the dude just probably wants to get back in the ring, right? He's like, hey, like his kids were there. I'm not even sure his kids probably even haven't even seen him wrestle. So they're like, Daddy, you didn't wrestle. It's like, yeah, I did. So it's like just some time to separate. You don't have to do it back to back. But like you said, it was a very heelish thing to do. And it's pure ricochet, so it was fine. But it's like, please stop. It was too close together in time. But it was fine.
Um, Yeah, I mean, I honestly, in full disclosure, like I had to Google Zach Gowen. Like the name when it came up, the name rang a bell, and I was like, okay, I should know who this is, but I don't, and so I had to Google it and look it up. And obviously, it kind of jogged my memory a little bit. I remember, that time, 2003, 2004, I guess, when he was in WWE a little bit. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, again, like you said, copycatting gets a little annoying, and but for what it is, Swerve, or Swerve, Ricochet healing it up, and that's always fun. So I can't imagine this plays into anything, but maybe we'll get some sort of quick match between Ricochet and Zach Gallen. I don't know.
He was decent in the ring. He was. So
I
sure.
mean, he's a wrestler, so I mean, he's still wrestling apparently independently right now. So
Oh wow. Okay.
I mean, that's what his Wikipedia page says. He says he's still active in the independent wrestling scene. So I don't, who knows?
Cool.
Who knows? Don Callis family, Roppongi Vice versus the Outrunners, AR Fox and Bandito in another one of these multi-man tag match kind of, for lack of a better word, clusterfuck situations. Bandito and Fletcher started it out. Some chops, blah, 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 head scissors. Trent Beretta comes in, takes Bandito down. Rocky Romero's comes in. He gets taken out by Fox. A lot of back and forth. Ultimately, Roppongi Vice gets the win, or finishes AR Fox for the win for their team in a little over 10 minutes. With the people in this, you can't go wrong. And so, I thought that the match itself was fine. Another one of those start in second gear, end in fourth gear. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm happy to see Trent Beretta, Rocky Romero back. I like Roppongi Vice. I'm a huge Trent Beretta fan.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm happy to see Bandito and AR Fox anytime they're on my screen. The Outrunners are always fun. So I thought this works overall for what it is. There's too many in AEW at the moment. There feels like there's too many people involved with the Callis family. Like, it's weird to say, like, we're gonna get anarchy in the arena, and I don't know what that looks like team wise, what it's going to end up looking like. But the Callis family's got involvement with like 4 different factions. It feels like and they can have a faction model at any time with anyone. So it seems weird. And the Outrunners and AR Fox together with whatchamacallit, is not, with Bandito is not necessarily really a faction, but like it's still fun to see them together because they're all
Yeah.
anti-Callis family, I guess. So it makes sense to that extent. But yeah, I mean, it's fun in a vacuum. It's fine, storyline wise. We'll see how it all washes out and plays out with the Callis family ultimately being, with their fingers in so much stuff. But what do you think?
Yeah. No, this was fun. And the Don Callis family right now is a good time. Point blank period, right? But in this match, everybody's a good freaking time. So you really can't go wrong. When it comes to more so Trent Beretta and what's his name? Rocky Romero.
Rocky.
We did this story, but Trent got hurt. And so I'm not and so my mind I'm like, I'm not mad that they just picked it up. They're like, you know what? Screw it. Let's pick it up. We're still part of Don Callis family, and we'll see where we go with it, right? Don Callis family is cool. You need more bodies, especially when you don't want everybody to lose. So it's like, okay, so like Trent and Rocky, they can get those losses when needed, right? As of right now, we're doing a good job with the Callis family. But I do think let's just keep an eye on it. You don't want us to turn into NWO. It's too many it's too many people in the faction, right? But as of right
Right.
now, so far so good. The main people are part of the main thing, and the rest of them are just having a good old time. So I'm not mad at it. This was cool. This was cool.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. No, I agree with what you said exactly. Um, Let's see. We get more Joe Moxley stuff. They get a video package about next week on Dynamite. Then Moxley says he's ready for the fight in the cage. There's no one on the planet better at taking a beating than him. How long will it last? Can Moxley take it? And, okay. I mean, I thought it was fine. Again, the stoic kind of, a little more quiet, not reserved because he's still extremely intense, but a little less jumpy around Moxie, the beanie on, the darker, kind of more focused. I like it. Again, it's we've seen kind of the same promo now for like the last 3 or 4 promos, which is fine, but you gotta switch it up a little bit too sometimes. So I don't know. I thought it was fine.
No,
Anything?
like real, like people think like, oh, that was Mox. No, him versus Colt. I full on think Colt was like, you gotta be more crazy. Yeah, that that promo was out of the realm of what Mox was going to do with the Death Riders. I don't understand. I want someone to agree with me. Like comparing that to all everything Moxley did with the Death Riders, you can't tell me one of these things is not like the other. So it's like, yeah, like I'm not gonna put it all on Copeland, but it's like now after this, it did get significantly better, and it's not because of just the other opponents. Just saying. But like just in case you miss out on a week, I do love the recap of the whole feud. A very nice setup feud. Like this is only what a month build.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like
I feel like about that.
like I'm not sure how much you need, but it's like some of these. I'll say this with AEW, they prove that you don't need a lot. It's like, hey, if it's hidden, we can hit it and quit it and make a great build up to a match. And this was a great build up to a match, and I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't.
We had Anthony Bowens versus Lee Johnson next. Billy Gunn and Blake Christian are here. Billy Gunn with Bowens, Blake Christian with Lee Johnson. Uh, a little back and forth. Ultimately, Bowens hits the discus forearm for the win, and which doesn't surprise me. That Anthony Bowens got the win. There it was under 5 minutes. I wouldn't say there was a whole lot of meat on the bone here. It is what it is. It's more about Anthony Bowens, I think, stacking up wins. As much as Max Caster's taking losses, Anthony Bowens is stacking up wins. So I'm assuming that that's no coincidence. I'm assuming that ultimately their trajectory is on a path towards each other, even though right now they're not necessarily looking at each other. I'm assuming that I think that's where Tony Khan thinks the money is ultimately is some sort of feud between the two of them in a match between them. So what you say? I mean, I'm here for it. Yeah. So we'll see. Anything you want to? Let's see. Post match. What you call it? Blake Christian went after Anthony Bowens and gets tossed around by Billy Gunn. And we get some old school scissoring. What do you think about this? Bowens, Gunn, all this stuff.
This was cool. Like you said, sometimes you just need those wins to get your reps up. It's like we're reintroducing you by yourself, so you should not be losing. And Lee Johnson, that's a nice little category of who you should be beating. So this was all serviceable.
We get some backstage segments and some promo segments here. We got the Gates of Agony. They're here for a chat. They call out Brian Keith and Big Bill. They actually, I guess this is an actual in ring segment. They actually have a little back and forth. Then they end up battling it out, fighting each other. Um, Bishop Khan crucifix bombs Brian Keith off the ramp through some tables. Ultimately, security comes out. Khan spears Bill off the ramp through some more tables. For what it's worth, I thought Gates of Agony came out looking stronger here than Big Bill and Brian Keith, which I guess if that's the goal, that's fine. I'm not totally sure why. I mean, I guess you want them to. The thing is they're already strong. We already know they're strong. Like, I feel like it would have benefited Big Bill and Brian Keith to come out on top of this little battle here more than it does Gates of Agony. But maybe you have a different opinion. I don't know. Either way, I'm here for these four fighting on and on and on. I mean, I don't know how on and on and on, but right now, on and on and on. I mean, we'll see. When they do it 4 or 5 weeks in a row, we'll see if I feel the same way. But right now, I'm here for all of this between these four. So, what about you?
Yeah, it's a good time. It's definitely a good time. You know why I think it's a good time, but I digress. All right, to professional. This is just a prime example of you don't have anything for them. Just let them this like this. Let's just pick two of our mid carders. Y'all battle it out. Oh, that's a good time. Oh, that's a good time. Let's see where it goes. And this is what this is, and it's really good. I disagree with you. I do think that Gates Agony needs to win because Big Bill and Brian Keith, even though they lost the championship match, they've been on Dynamite more than Gates of Agony. And we need to get a Gates. And as of right now, on television, we need to get Gates of Agony's reps up more than Big Bill's, right? Like, so at least it doesn't look side. It doesn't look lopsided. We know who should win. So I
Yeah.
am definitely here for Gates of Agony getting more these are matches. These are just feuds. It's just them fighting. So it's like, okay, I'm here for them just fighting and Gates of Agony getting the one up on them. I'm okay with that. And they're just being stupid right now. Like real life. Like hey, let's go up the ramp. Hey, you wanna go through a table? Not just any table, through the bottom of the stage where we don't know what we can control Jack if y'all hit the floor. Sure, fine. Why why the frick heck not? Like, but listen, I am all here for y'all just doing what you call it. Y'all doing what y'all need to do to get this feud going. So I'm here for all of this. This was entertaining as hell. And yeah, let's just have fun with it. Let's see where the frick it goes.
We got a video package of Megan Bain versus Anna Jade with Harley Cameron and Penelope Ford. That little foursome feud going on there. We get a video package of Chris Statlander versus Willow Nightingale leading up to their match, which is next. So we did get Chris versus Chris Statlander versus Willow Nightingale next. Statlander gets the win with Saturday Night Fever, defeating Willow a little over 12 minutes. Marina Shafir did make herself known and choked Willow Nightingale with a chain, which basically kind of allowed Chris Statlander to hit the Saturday. No, basically did allow Chris Statlander to hit the Saturday Night Fever for the win. So I guess you could say that it wasn't a clean win, that's for sure. Yeah, this was fine. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I'm happy to see Marie or Willow wrestle anytime. I want to see Marina Shafir get her ass kicked. I mean, it's about time that someone actually drags her in the ring and just beats the brakes off her, right? And at this point now, I want to see it be Willow, but there's been plenty that have come along that and she's managed to inflict damage and not take a whole lot to date as being a member of the Death Riders. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
about time that she gets a little receipts too, because she's definitely dished out some pain. So I want to see that at some point. But I thought this was good. I mean, I like Willow, and I'm disappointed that Willow didn't get the win, but at least it wasn't clean. And if this leads to somehow, Marina versus Willow in some sort of one-on-one situation and longer term feud, we're definitely here for this.
Right.
But I enjoyed it was Moxley and Marina Shafir versus Swerve and Willow, right?
Yeah,
And I enjoyed that. I mean,
yeah,
I thought that was fun, but we still haven't gotten Willow and Marina alone. Like,
yeah.
I want Marina locked in a steel cage or something with Willow where she can't run away. We can actually see Willow beat the shit out of her. I don't know that it has to be a steel cage, but that's what I want to see. Like, Marina Shafir has done enough for me to this point to where like I'm ready to see someone like she's got to take some punishment at some point, and Willow would be the perfect person to do it. So I want to see that. So in that regard, this was fine. I mean, I wonder if there isn't. I don't want to say Chris Statlander's third wheel, but I wonder if this match isn't more to build up Marina Shafir versus Willow than it is necessarily Stat versus Willow, which is fine because we've been there and done that with Stat and Willow several times. So
No.
what do you think?
It's definitely leaning towards just it being a hype up between Willow and versus Marina, even though like it's not entirely third Willie, like if she literally popped out of nowhere, like it wasn't like oh Marina was hovering over and this is just like oh can we just get to it? I actually like that she just
Right.
popped up, caused her to that's over. Um, Crazy enough, I love this feud between Willow and Marina. I actually do. I think like for people who like, oh, who's she gonna face? Willow is a perfect first rivalry for Marina. Now, like you said, I love the intergender tag match. I think that was perfectly that was perfect for Marina because we haven't seen her in one on one and we don't know what she can do. So, as much as I love this rivalry, I am kind of what's the word? I'm worried for Marina because I haven't seen her do a solo, and I want her to do so well. I want her to do so well, and so it's like it should happen. It should happen, sink or swim. But it's just like, please let her do well. Please let her do good. Please let her be who she is in Bloodsport. Let her be who she is in Bloodsport, and that's half the battle. But Willow is a great first rivalry for her, and I love that. Towards this match with her and Stat, they don't disappoint. They really don't, and it really is just like, when are we going to elevate either one of them? Right? It's like, when is that going to be the workhorse and actually have a significant title reign that matters? Stat had the TBS title, and it was fine, but she really didn't have, like, she was just facing people. She didn't have a rivalry where it's like, oh, her versus dot dot dot. That was the greatness of their feud. We just had her facing a bunch of people until at the end it was her. I want to say Willow and definitely Julia Hart. It's just like, yeah, that was just to give the belt to Julia, right? So I want both. I want more for both of these ladies because they deserve it. They shouldn't just be, oh, to put somebody over, put them in the ring with either Stat or Willow. No, they should actually be champions. Like in the championship contendership of either of of either title, TBS and or the AEW Women's World Heavyweight Championship. But this was a great match. They have great chemistry, and they can fight forever. It's just like the whole, are we good or not good? Just resolve that. Just like I don't care. Just resolve it. It is what it is. Just either stay that way or move on.
We get a clip of Sky Blue coming back next week, if anybody cares. Um, we, we get a look at Hangman Page and Will Ospreay's face-to-face meeting last week on Dynamite, just to make sure that they're bridging the gap and showing stuff on the other shows that they don't appreciate. Then we get John Callis family versus the Dark Order. I haven't seen the Dark Order in a long time. I don't know if that's they've been on Collision or not, but like I feel like I haven't heard or seen of them in a while. So
The last
um,
mainstay was when the Death Riders first came out and they were on the front line to defend AEW, but that was it. And it's just like, Dad, y'all could have gave him a little bit more. I mean, dang.
let's see. The Don Callis family jumps in before the bell, and the destruction is quick and fast. Josh Alexander ultimately hits a C4 spike with the win. I mean, this was basically a squash, unfortunately. Takeshita hit the flying knee. Like I said, Josh Alexander hit the C4 spike for the win. It was less than like 3 minutes. So, again, I mean, when AEW started, what is it, 5.5 years ago now, there were some mainstays and some people that I thought I really enjoyed,
Yeah.
and Dark Order was one of them. And I understand they lost Stu Grayson. I understand they ultimately lost Evil Uno when it really boils down to it, I think. And I get it. They kind of it is what it is. But I was always disappointed. The loss of Brody Lee, obviously, is the biggest thing. That the passing of Brody Lee, because he was supposed to be the leader of the Dark Order, or he was the leader of the Dark Order, right? And he was the big, kind of the big ticket guy for them. And I think once he was gone, it was kind of like Tony wasn't sure what to do with them. I do think that the Dark Order always kind of suffered a little bit from feeling more like a comedy act than a true like real contender faction type thing. And with a name like Dark Order, it felt like a weird dynamic to be the Dark Order and be like a comedy team too. Like it was weird to me. So I thought there was always a little bit of a disconnect there. That being said, I always loved Evil Uno. I love Stu Grayson. Huge fan of John Silver. A huge fan of Alex Reynolds. Alex Reynolds maybe a little bit less. He's probably lowest on the pole there, but like I those guys I like them. So I was happy to see them back here. But then they get treated like this. It didn't surprise me that Takeshita and Josh Alexander were beating them. 2.5 minutes is a little quick, and the Dark Order's getting treated like that. It's a little disappointing, but it is what it is, I guess. What do you think?
No, I agree with you. It's like we're not saying they should be now. We're not saying now they should be AEW World Tag Team Champions, but at some point in time, like you said, after Brody Lee passed and they did the whole thing with Hangman, there was a window where you could have given them tag championships. And like you said, now most of the mainstays of AEW are not here anymore. And look at your tag team division. You don't have anybody right now that are prominent. And besides just FTR and Hurt Syndicate and maybe the what is their name?
Which one?
The Kyle O'Reilly and Rushing Strong. What's their name?
Paragon.
Okay, I want to say Purdue so bad. Paragon. We have besides those three, you don't have big people, and they could, like I said, this is just hindsight 2020. But it's just like if you just keep your finger on the pulse of them just being the mid card, it's in your stare. Like Alex Silver and Johnny Hungy, they're great as a tag team. You just could like just have them consecutively on television just so you can have more bodies. It's just like just practical practices of this. You don't have to worry about stuff down the line. And so you can say John Alexander just got here, so I'm not gonna fault them for beating Dark Order, but it is just like dang. It really is just like dang.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Dark Order is one of those groups that I'm ultimately a little disappointed in AEW for kind of dropping the ball on because I think they could have been after Brody Lee was gone. I still think they could have been more than they were. So,
Yeah.
but I digress. Mike Bailey versus Drew Listico is our next match of the night, and the next two matches. We're into the co-main events, I guess, or the final match and then the main event, or the final two matches of the night. Which for me for this episode was really the meat on the bone of this episode. Mike Bailey versus Drew Listico was amazing. The two of these guys killed it. I mean, this was a match that started in fourth gear. Talk about starting in second gear and ending in fourth gear. These guys started in fourth gear. Like, I mean, and you shouldn't expect anything less than Speedball from Speedball Drew Listico. So two of the better, I don't know. Dralistico is one of the better luchadors in the world. I don't know what you classify Bailey as. I don't know exactly what his style is. I guess he's a striker in theory. I mean, that's
Yeah.
um, but he's amazing that the athletic ability between the two of them is off the charts, and they put on a clinic when it comes to that kind of stuff. And the spot fest, the Canadian Destroyer was great. The moonsault got the knees up. Ultimately, Mike Bailey gets a tornado kick for the win, which that kick looks cool. I mean, it's basically the Kofi Trouble on SOS, right? It's basically that kick.
Yeah.
So that kick for me, in some respects, I used to equate it in my head a little bit to kind of how I equate the Sister Abigail. Like it has to be done at the right time because it takes time to develop. Like three full rotations before you actually land the kick. So like the
Yeah.
person has to be somewhat stunned or yeah, exactly. They can't just be like rushing in and you hit it. It's not something that comes out of nowhere. So in that regard, it is what it is as far as a finisher goes. But I like it. Mike Bailey makes it look cool because he's a martial arts expert and it looks cool. Um, so, no, I mean, this match is everything that I thought it would be. It was my favorite match of the night, even though the main event was extremely solid. This was my favorite match of this episode. This is everything that I watch AEW for. So I enjoyed this immensely. I'm very glad Speedball's in AEW. I think the future is extremely bright for him in AEW. And hopefully at some point he'll be a champion sooner than later. So
No. When you talk about perfect fits for each company, Mike Bailey is a perfect fit for AEW. Like he's one of the people who I'm not saying he doesn't want to be a champion, but he loves wrestling. If you would just say, hey, we don't know where you're gonna we don't know when you're gonna put a title on, but you're gonna face some great people. He might. I can definitely be a guarantee. Like sure, bet that's what I want. Like he just wants to wrestle, and like you said, this was perfect. Drew Listico is so good. Where it's just like you don't. I'm not gonna say you don't get confused, but there is a couple of luchadors in AEW, and it's just like hopefully he doesn't get there. We go. He doesn't get caught in the ruffle of all of them. Like, oh, he's just a luchador. No, no, no. Realistic
Right.
goal is that dude as well, and we should pay him
Yeah.
respect. This was so good, and unlike Kevin Knight, you can just randomly have set up random speed bump Mike Bailey matches to be like, all right, some people essentially doesn't need a feud, just need good competitors, and that's people like Mike Bailey. It's like, all right, yep, I'm here. Let's watch. What's going to happen?
Yeah. Definitely agree with all that. So that brings us to our main event of this episode of Collision, which is Daniel Garcia versus Dax Harwood. Cash Wheeler and Stokely, no longer Stokely Hathaway, are out at ringside with Dax. Um, we get, obviously these guys back and forth, a lot of action. At some point, Dax goes over to the commentary desk and slaps Nigel McGuinness in the face. Nigel takes the headset off, teases fighting, but backs down. Ultimately, the match gets thrown out because Cash gets involved and a big brawl ensues, and we don't actually get a winner, which, is fine. But I'm going to harp a little bit here on this segment. I understand that this isn't Dynamite. I get
Right.
that. So, you take with a grain of salt what you get in general as far as matchups go. Dax Harwood is an amazing wrestler. I love Dax. Now, is he a main event singles guy? I don't know for sure. FTR is definitely a main event tag team. I think Dax has shown that he could potentially be a main event singles guy, but at least he's a serviceable singles guy. Daniel Garcia is a very serviceable mid card guy. If you're looking at the mid card, he's number one or two at the top of the mid card pile. At times, he touches the bottom of the net or the bottom of that list of the main event pile, for a segment or whatever the case may be, a storyline, a one-off type of situation. So in that regard, it's fine. It's your B show and this is your main event. So, it is what it is. This feud is the important thing here, right? It's Daniel Garcia essentially versus FTR to a
Yeah.
certain extent, which is the feud that's been going on. And 2.0, because FTR beat up 2.0, which is why Daniel Garcia was upset in the first place.
Right.
So, I understand like what's going on. Um, and I'm happy to see Daddy Magic come out and get involved and get a little comeuppance. That's great. I'm happy to see Danny and 2.0. We'll see what's up with Angelo. I don't know what Angelo's got, but here's my concern. My concern, we've already talked about this. So we have Gunther and Pat McAfee, and now to duplicate it, we've got Dax Harwood slapping Nigel McGuinness. Like, I understand Nigel's not Pat. I get it, all those things, but it's like you're involving commentary. It's like you're
Yeah.
the lack of originality. If you watch something and say that's a good idea, you don't have to do it the same week. You can give it some time. Let
Yes.
them finish what they're doing and then get to it. Like,
Yes.
so, it is what it is. I mean, again, we basically have two stories now going on with commentary, right? We've got Tony Schiavone's issue, and now we've got the Nigel McGuinness issue. So it's okay, it is what it is. If I get Nigel and Matt Menard and Daniel Garcia versus FTR and another person, I'm here for that. I like to see Nigel wrestle again. That I'm here for. I mean, I think Nigel deserves probably more than Daniel Garcia and Matt Menard facing FTR. That's a nice rub to face FTR. They're one of the best tag teams on the planet, and depending on who their tag team would be, but Garcia and Menard are definitely mid card guys, so Nigel being there is what it is. But it's not, he didn't get himself involved. They FTR involved him. So I do think that for me, Daniel Garcia versus FTR and Matt Menard and Daniel Garcia versus FTR doesn't really do a whole lot for me. You add Nigel into it, now I'm interested. Even though I don't like the copying, even though I don't necessarily like the announcer being involved, I'm more interested now that Nigel's involved. So if that was the goal, then it's worked in that regard. So I thought the main event match was fine. I thought this episode of Collision was not as good as the Saturdays before,
Hmm.
and I didn't think it was as good as Dynamite. So I'm giving this one a C. I gave the first Collision a B plus. I gave Dynamite a B minus. I'm giving this a C. So, what did you think of the main event and this show ultimately grade wise?
No, main event. I totally agree with all of that. It's like y'all real life just can't wait 2 weeks after Backlash. Like just not to have the comparison. Not even like y'all can't do it. Like just not to have the comparison of it all. But I digress because, like you said, Nigel in the ring in any capacity is like okay. It really is like okay. Nigel's gonna be in the match. Okay, and then more so Nigel and Daniel Garcia. Okay, it's a like I said, not sure when you do it. Like I said, wait 2 weeks to really hype it up, but that will be very very tasty. Collision wise, it is the Tony Storm slash FTR show, so I'm okay with this being the main event. No contest is like why not? It really is like why can't this match have a 1, 2, 3? Honestly, like why are we like we don't need to protect Daniel Garcia and Dax is a tag team person, so him losing in a singles match is fine. There are plenty of reasons to have this be a 1, 2, 3, but it's fine. Like I said, all in all, is this was a fun collision. I would have loved if they would have put a little bit more stank on it because like I said, like just to test the waters of if you can put it on Thursday. I think like like you said, I would have loved to see the numbers to see if because like even though they're doing good work and trying to make Collision a good show, putting on Saturday is still the issue. So I would have loved if they would have put like an extra superstar. Like maybe Matt and Nick Jackson, or maybe Swerve, or maybe Omega, just to see how good the numbers could be on a Thursday. But all in all, it was a fine Collision show. I do agree with you. The Saturday before this one was better than this one, so I would. But nothing on this really sucked. C is a standard C.
All right. So we both gave this episode of Collision a C. We both gave, well, you gave Dynamite B
Minus.
plus, right?
I gave it a C.
Oh,
You
you
gave
gave Dynamite a C. That's right. I gave it a B minus, and
and I
we both gave Collision a B plus from last Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, right?
yes. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So as of now, I guess Collision from last Saturday, from May 5th, is this week's winner of, or winner circle winner.
Yeah.
Normally, we'll only have one Collision episode to review with Dynamite. And like I said, it does seem a little weird, I guess, to be comparing company shows, but at the same time, in the spirit of Tony Khan, who wants his shows to be equal, we'll review them equally and we'll grade them. So we'll see if Collision can hold up Dynamite in the future here ongoing. Um, and we'll see when we come back next week. We will. I'll have the numbers. I'll find the numbers to see how Thursday's show was in comparison to how normally it is on Saturday, so we can discuss that a little bit and see if we think that it does make sense to potentially Tony to actually consider some sort of a switch to another day, whether
Yeah.
it's Thursday or not, whatever. But all right. So unless there's anything else you want to say, I'll do a little housekeeping and we'll get up out of here. Join us every Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, for the cookout, where we all come together and talk about what's cooking up in the world of professional wrestling. Friday nights is Friday Night Fights, where we watch SmackDown in real time starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, giving you our reactions and opinions as the show is taking place. Saturday mornings, which I don't have it here. You're here with us now. I need to add the thing. Sorry, that's my fault. I am missing our graphic for a new winner circle, but you can see it if we both go away real quick. New winner circle graphic for Collision versus Dynamite every Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. Join us for that every Saturday. Let's see, if you scan this QR code, that will take you to Linktree, and from Linktree, you can get to all of our social media from one place. You can interact with us on all the social media platforms you see on the screen there. We are on all of those, and we'd love to interact with you everywhere you want to interact with us. So come check us out and let us know everything you got going on. If you want to check out the audio version of the Cookout podcast, you don't have time to sit down and watch the video version on YouTube. You can listen to the audio version on these podcast platforms. So while you're running your errands, doing whatever you're doing, driving around, you can listen to our golden and vocal cords on the Cookout podcast. So, unless you have anything else to say, we will shut out the lights and get out of here. As the Lord says, turn out the lights. And until next time,